Hello, adventurers, and welcome back to the About page. And also, you can kind of see that scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Um, Also, my socials are right over this way, right there. You can see them all right there. I'm actually posting now when I go live over there, so go check them out. Um, and that's that, yeah. So tonight, we're continuing, like I said, Iadithis Campaign 2, following a group of adventurers across the sea. Currently, they are leaving the area known as the Giant's Tooth into, I guess what you could call international waters to investigate a long lost city that is said to have arisen from the waves. On the way there, they found. Well, first, they were attacked by pirates as they were leaving New Hope Port, where they were staying, but they were able to fight them off and took one of them prisoner, who they have nicknamed Barnacle. That is not his name. They do not care. That is his name now. And he is currently acting as, while he is a prisoner, he is doing work on the ship and actually cooked them a very nice breakfast. They were, however, not directly assaulted, but may have been, if things had gone poorly, by a strange, aberrant creature of the ocean, which appeared differently to each of them, but with similar details. There were a sort of lure alongside the ship, looking like almost horses made of water, that glowed ever so slightly, and they were running alongside the ship, and they seemed to be almost pulling this large vessel a little bit far away. In the mist of the morning, it was hard to make out too many details, but it was horrifying. And they were able, since it fed off their fear, they were able to hold their fear at bay long enough that it left and they were able to proceed. Food was consumed, made by Barnacle, and they eventually came upon a strange, very shallow area in the water. Not quite land, per se. It wasn't above the water at all, but it was about thigh height. And investigating, they found a hole, a soft patch with a hole that opened up, and water drained down. A couple of them going down, they found, that being Seth and I believe it was Kinsella the other one. They went down and they found a large cluster of aquatic dwelling people known as the Tritons. Tritons are not super common and generally don't settle down in one place for too long, very nomadic. But they found a cluster of them hiding in this underground tunnel system. And one of them came with, as the party agreed to help them get an idol back from their city. This city attacked by, as they called them, the ones that dwell. Or sorry, the ones that tread. I got the name wrong. That's my bad. The ones that tread. Described as creatures of the deep, who took the city by force. And now the Tritons, at the very least, want to get their religious idol back from a vault within the city. A vault that the party was already on their way to and already have the key to. But one of these people, one of these Tritons came with you, identified himself as Dunless. He is a very large, very broad figure, but seems kind enough, and doesn't seem like he's going to rip your head directly off. And so now you are on the boat, heading towards your destination. Seth, the very last thing is you were with Dunless, actually learning a little bit about their history. And you were told about who this idol is of a goddess, who they worship, and who watches over their city. And I gave you some details on that. It's very base details. Dunless shared a little bit, but did seem a bit reserved about going too much in detail. This was a very much a surface level understanding given to you. This is very sacred people. But now, we'll say that was the end of I believe the end of the night. So we'll say, come morning, you guys are maybe a couple days out at this point. There were a few things that slowed you down here and there. And so at this point, it's about a day and a half's journey, we'll say, until you reach your location. I'll say about that point, you all wake up to another nice breakfast. Some of it is just leftovers from the one morning. But around that time, the captain, Captain Blackwater, gathers you all up and asks you all, so, about a day and a half's travel till we reach our location. Are we wanting to approach at night or daytime? Do you have a preference? We can slow down if we need to.
I would prefer the cover of night.
Cover of night. All right. Then we'll have to slow down a little bit just to make sure we get there about then. But we don't really know what we're going into. I asked Dunless some questions, and from what it sounds like, the city is not fully above the water, but what they called their worship center is what I gathered from it, that where they would go to worship, that is above the water.
Ah,
But the vault where you'll be going, from what Dunless knows, isn't there. It's a bit lower. So you will have to dive under the water a little bit. Which, however you want to go about that, is up to you. I don't suppose you have any magics that'll allow you to breathe under the water? Do any of you have anything like that?
no, I don't.
I need to
I
check.
myself have something, yet it's only good for myself. I can't transfer it to anyone else.
All right, so you're taken care of. What about the rest of you? Any of you others able to?
But what was the thing that I was doing?
He's asking if there are any of you that have ways of breathing under the water, since you will have to dive. For those of you that don't, we do have something on board, which we haven't really had a reason to use, but it came with the ship. We call it a diving bell. Basically, it's just attached by a chain to the ship, and you get inside, and there's a air pocket inside, and it's got some handles so you can go down, and then when you need to come back up, you just give the chain a tug, and we'll pull you back up. It won't allow you to walk around and breathe, but you can come back to it if you need to get some air. There is limited air though, so gotta ration it a little bit. But for those of you that don't need to breathe, you'll be okay.
I think I might need it.
For sure.
Most of us will.
It can fit all of you. It's big enough to fit all of you under it. So you should be okay. But I was asking about that because, of course, you all can't breathe underwater like Dunless. There is basically an armory of a sort that's not too far down. You should be able to get it pretty quickly, as long as you don't get slowed by anything. It has these sort of bubbles that, for them, it's to help them breathe above the water a little better for those that can't. But for you, it should actually possibly have the opposite effect. You might be able to sort of put it over your mouth, and it'll allow you to breathe air. That's the hope anyway. I guess you'll figure it out once you're down there, but that's the idea. Any supplies you might need? We don't have a lot on board, but is there any supplies you might need that might make it easier?
I believe
Lights.
Lights? We can do lights. I believe we have some.
I can provide lights if need be.
I
Well,
can
good.
too, but I was just thinking less magic used.
Well, if you want to stay away from magic, we can definitely provide some lights. We have some that are essentially like flares, meant to be dropped in the water. They won't burn forever, or even for very long, but it'll provide you with some light. They're very bright, so that can work. Anything else you might need? I don't know how long you'll be down there, but
Do you have anything that can be, what's the best way to describe, like paint that can stay on the water?
uh, that I don't have. Are you looking for something? Why do you need it?
Just if we're going into a city and dark, I'd imagine we'd probably want to be able to find a way back to certain things.
Oh, all right. For sure. We don't have paint, but w- we do have some spare cloth and things meant to fix sails. You could use it, almost tie it around corners and such, so you can kind of just follow the markers back. If that's kind of what you're wanting it for, we can give you some spare cloth for that sort of thing, so you can just follow the markers. But
I would
we don't really have what you're
appreciate it.
looking for. So he'll actually send one of his men to go get that, and they begin cutting it into strips. And basically, um, you're given a pack full of strips of basically the tarp material sails are made out of that you can then tie around things to make markers.
A reminder. We do have Dunless.
Yeah. You don't
And
need to be
obviously he knows his way
prepared,
around.
Seth.
True.
As much as you trust him with all of your very being, I have my own doubts.
When don't you?
Calm down. It's too early for this.
About that time, heavy footsteps from down below approaching you guys, and you hear or you see Dunless approaching. So I have plotted a route to get us to where we need to go, at least where I believe it should be. Um, as far as getting into the vault, that is on you all to do, as you said you had some way to do so. So I trust you on that. As far as getting back out, I'm okay at maneuvering. I am more the fighting type. I'll be watching your back, but as far as maneuvering, I'll do my best. Kind of looks over towards you, Consolida. I hear you do not fully trust. Is there anything I could do to gain your trust?
That's more of a thing I need to do on my own. It's not a you thing.
Fair enough. You are smart to not fully trust, but do not let that cloud judgment.
I'm not judging you. I'd just rather make sure that I am securing my own safety.
Fair enough.
You seem kind, diligent, and stoic.
Gives a half smile, and then looks over toward the captain. Captain, a word, please. And captain just kind of nods, and they go and walk, basically over towards like the captain's quarters.
Hmm.
Door is shut, and you can hear them conversing. Not like trying to be like sneaky or anything, but you can vaguely hear them conversing. What do the rest of you want to be doing during this time?
Look at Seth. What was that about?
What about?
Your attitude?
What attitude?
You seemed very defensive when I said that I don't entirely trust Dunless.
No.
Was there something else you were trying to convey? Because that's how I felt.
No.
So you were defensive?
What if I was?
I would just like you to be gentle with your approach to people and how they've grown over the years. I'm not mad
I
at
don't
you.
get what that means.
I don't trust people. I have my reasons for it. Whether they are fish, whether they are horse, whether they are bird or human. I would just prefer if you didn't get so aggressive when I express such a discomfort.
I don't care who you trust.
You don't seem to. Your actions don't seem to follow that.
I just trust him.
I know you do. And I will take note of that and try not to hurt your feelings in the future, but please be mindful of me too.
I'll try.
You're trying, that's all I need.
I have a question for you two, actually.
Hmm?
You were, I think this is true. I don't know. I might be misremembering, but you were kind of down in the water for a while yesterday. How were you able to not drown?
Build different.
That's a really good question.
Oh,
Ooh, well,
I can just breathe underwater, so I don't know about that one.
well, Consolida, do you
uh,
have any idea?
To to your recollection, you just could.
I mean, like,
I suppose that if the door was open, they would be expecting some visitors, and they wouldn't want them to drown.
well, yeah, guys, I'm not intelligent enough to know why I was able to breathe under the water. All I the barrier, water drained, but I could still breathe and float. I don't know.
It's okay. I was just wondering if they gave you anything or if it was something obvious, you know.
They're fish people. They have their magics.
Well, I didn't want to assume. I don't know how magical your average fish person is.
Looks at
Yes,
They
looks
actually
at
seem pretty interested in the fact that people could use magic more commonly. They can't.
Yes, fish people don't seem to be very magical on average.
Well, how about we ask you ask Dunless next time he comes around.
Who, me?
You ask the question.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you don't ask, I could.
I kind of wanted to talk to him anyway.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be in the cargo hold if anyone needs me. Planning my preservation. And slink away.
And so you end up going down to the cargo hold. Okay. And what about the rest of you currently gathered? Where do you all go?
Hey, Ulrich,
Yes.
could we talk?
Sure. Yes, of course you can.
And he's gonna drag Ulrich somewhere private.
Okay. Cargo hold is taken. There is a one of the barrack style rooms. You can see if anyone's in there, or you could just try to find somewhere on the deck where there isn't anyone. Ship's not huge, so finding a place other than the cargo hold, which currently has a Consolida in it, a little hard.
Barrack.
Okay.
See if anyone's
At this
there.
point, there's like one guy who seems really disinterested and half asleep in the corner.
Oh.
Good enough.
So,
What do you know about different gods and things?
well,
You can go ahead and make me a religion check, see what you know.
I'm panicking.
Go ahead and make me a religion check, and I'll give you advantage because of your background.
Oh, where's religion? There. Okay, there it is. And then roll again. That would be a 19 with the
A 19?
advantage.
Very good. Connor, help out a little bit. Be a little more specific on what you're wanting to know. Because that is a very broad question, and I could here just read off all of the information that Ulrich would know, or I can give the specific information you're wanting to know. Because there's a lot of information that I could give with that. There are two different pantheons I could go over.
Oh god.
Seth's mostly looking for like a list of gods. Names.
Sweet Jesus. Okay, hold on.
Pulls up a
Okay.
50-page document.
Well, it ain't 50. It's like
Yeah.
10. Fuck my fucking eyes. Alright, that's
Oh,
Syrian.
that's-
Here it is. Okay, so I'll just go over the names. There is Chronothos. There is Aetheron. There is Gaothra. Hydros, which you're currently in his domain. The ocean. Pyroclastos. Umbraxus. Nebulon. Silvoria. Luminaris, and Foven. Which that should be a familiar name for you guys.
The
So yeah, those are the gods. Those are the ones that you would know. I'll say with the 19, I mean you know the entire pantheon, and I'll tell you like,
I would know more.
yeah,
The old ones.
yeah. I will say though, Ulrich, with a 19, I think it's reasonable you would have been told of the Fey gods as well. Obviously they are not the ones that are currently in power, but those are the ones that were in power in campaign 1. You at the very least would have been told of them because of some of your connections and people you know.
My connection.
Your connections, yeah. Galliard. You would have probably heard of them at least once. At least once by name.
Yes.
But yeah, there you go. You get that information. Do you relay that information?
Yes. Why would I not?
There you go.
And
That's
yeah. Sorry.
kind of weird.
Also.
Tunless had mentioned a different one.
What different one? Those are the ones that I can best recall from memory, and the ones I've heard so much about.
I don't know if you'd want me really saying who, but it's not on your list.
I mean,
Can a normal person be a god?
Here's what
I
I will
would.
give you in
Yeah.
that, Ulrich. This is going off of your roll from before, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It is not heard of for a quote unquote normal person. But the closest thing would be the Fey gods, but they were not normal people. They had power, but they were not normal people.
They have to be. But so it's unheard of. Or if I remember correctly, that was
correct. It is unheard of for a normal person, as Seth put it, to be a god. That is unheard of.
okay. I mean, Ollie should just most likely say that's most likely quite unheard of. I don't think I've ever seen a person become a god.
He mentioned that this person, the god they serve, created them. Would that mean that the doctor's a god because he created me?
Well, if you want to put it that way on a technicality, yes. But I also see it as no. If that makes sense.
No. It makes no sense. How can it be yes and no?
Well, this I'm thinking, but well, I mean, if you're thinking about it that way, then yes. But I think it's no. You know, I'm agreeing with your thought process that yes, that it could be possible, but no, that isn't what I think is true. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I...
You.
Do they do anything for you? The gods, I mean. Why pray to them?
I mean, well, because I've kind of learned to. I follow them because I feel like they give me a sense of security or safety. But it's all I've grown to know, if that makes sense.
Not really. But I don't think you're going to be able to explain it much better.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how I see it, personally, as a sense of security.
All right. You're good at keeping things secret and quiet, right?
Mm-hmm. That's how I am.
And Seth's gonna real quickly take a short listen to make sure Dunless isn't anywhere nearby.
Make a perception check.
Ooh.
With these my perception plus. Is it? There it is. It's
Do you
math.
not have a passive perception of 20,000?
Yeah, but I could also roll higher than that,
Fair.
of which I did. It's 22.
Ooh.
22. You take a good listen, and other than the guy who is now fully asleep in the corner, you don't hear anything that would lead you to believe there's anybody there listening.
The goddess Dunless mentioned, her name was Myknes?
That name is something I don't remember or heard of.
You do not know it as far as you can tell.
Yeah, alright. Good. Yeah. Well, I've never heard of such a thing. Person. Oh god.
Oh. I was kind of hoping at least you or maybe in Chiron would. I'll have to ask him too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more, but Dunless seems...
Well, just... keep yourself guarded of the fellow, and I'm sure Taiwan has more answers than I can provide. Hopefully.
maybe. He is really old, right? In Chiron.
I believe so, no? Should be.
I mean, I know he's older than I can count, but I can't even count my own age, so...
I think he's older than most of us in our little group, from what I gathered.
He seems like it.
He does. He seems like a nice fellow. Oh, no.
Thanks for what you could give me, though it wasn't a whole lot for answers that I wanted.
Of course, I'm happy to at least help out in the best of my ability.
And then he's gonna go seek out in Chiron, simply to ask one question.
Hello. How are you doing? I'm worried about how you're holding up with the thought of going under the water to get to this vault.
Anyway, I had a question for you.
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
And he's gonna drag Encheiron down to the same place.
When you open the door, guy in the corner stirs a little bit, looks at you, and closes his eyes again and snores within seconds.
You're older. You know a lot.
I think so,
Have
yes.
you ever heard of a goddess named Myknes?
Pro religion.
Religion, okay, yeah, I'm religious, but I don't have proficiency in religion. Oh, that's a 4.
You've never heard of it before, no.
Have I ever heard of different regions calling gods by different names before?
You can either keep that same religion check, or you can roll,
I will roll
a
a
different
new
one.
one.
Okay, roll a different history check.
Different religion check. I have
Or a different
proficiency
religion
in
check.
history.
Yeah. Religion, yeah.
Not all that better. 7.
Kind of. Here's what I'll give you with the 7. You have, in the places you've been, you've only heard them called by the names that you know them to be, the current pantheon. But you've heard some people call, for example, you have heard the name Pofem, and you're pretty sure that was relating to Foven, just somebody who said it wrong, or someone like Nebulous. Pretty sure that was supposed to be Nebulon, but it was probably just somebody saying it wrong, less so a different region type thing.
There. It might. I don't believe I've heard of any god of that name. I was actually going to ask Dunless more about his religion. I was interested in it, but I didn't want to interrupt what he was doing beforehand.
You didn't hear that name from me.
Oh, of course not.
He seemed kind of reluctant to give me more information.
Well, sometimes when you hold a belief close to your heart, it can be hard to share.
Chiron, can I ask something other
Oh,
than that?
yes, of course.
Hi, s'mores. Go away. Hey, babe.
Yes.
We forgot to feed her
I'll go
again.
get it. You continue. Do your RP. I'll be back.
When I'm near him, my heart beats really fast. And I feel kind of weird. Is that what Kinsella called a crush?
It very well might be, yes.
I really like him.
Well, he's very nice and polite. I think you should talk to him more if you like him that much.
How? It's different with you and the others. I've been around you for a while. Not that long, but long enough. But we only just met him. I don't even know how to start conversations.
Well, what do you like?
I like a lot of things, but I don't know how that has anything to do with it.
Well, maybe talk to him about something that you're interested in.
I'm interested in their religion.
Something less important, more small.
Do you think they like fish?
He's likely
Or
seen
do
a
you
lot
think
of
that's
fish.
offensive?
I'm sure they eat fish and know a lot about them.
Fish food. That was like one of the first
Yes, I would love to see Seth bring Dunless, the man who said fish are friends, not food, a dead fish.
No, no.
He
said
said
fish
the
are
opposite.
food.
He said fish are food. Because he was compared to fish, and he was like, "No, fish are food. We are not fish."
It was you. It was you
Yes.
guys that were saying that fish are friends, not food,
I
as a joke after the fact.
You confuse yourself with your puns.
I'm gonna go catch fish.
Oh, before you go, and I'm going to put my hand on your shoulder and cast Enhance Ability e- uh, Eagle Splendor. You have advantage on charisma checks for an hour.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
Oh,
rolls
boy.
to seduce.
Iron Path, the Wingman.
Oh boy. All right. So you gonna go try and catch a fish?
yeah.
Okay. Do you go about this in a specific way, or do you try to find like a fishing rod and do all that? Like, how do you go about this?
That's tough because I don't think he understands how fishing rods work. I don't think he'd have used one.
You're also moving still, so you are in a moving ship and you have to catch a fish. Do you think Seth would have ever himself fished before, whether with a fishing rod or otherwise, even if that means getting down in a river with his hands? Do you think he ever would have done that before?
Definitely. The whole river and with hands thing, yes. 100% he would have done that.
Okay. Go ahead and make me, I will say, either a perception or you're honestly out of the, I was going to say like some form of intelligence check. Go ahead and make me a perception check. I had to
you.
think about it, but yeah.
He has no plus to his intelligence. He'd fail whatever it is.
Oh, I know. Let's get some sounds going here.
It'd be 20. Is it 20?
Okay. What the fuck? Okay. Well, you get down to the, oh, that's fucking right. You get down to the water. Or kind of like down on one of the areas where you can see down to the water. And looking around, you do see that they have some nets hanging there on some of the posts and whatnot. So you could attempt to use that. You could also... There are a few things you could try. That is one of them. You could try that. Or you could try to hang off the side of the ship and just grab one. Also an option. Up to you.
We're gonna go with nets because I know Seth's an idiot, but he's not so stupid as to do that.
Okay, then I actually want you to I don't know exactly what your like weapon proficiencies are, but net is a type of weapon. If you probably don't have proficiency with a net, I don't believe you would. Go ahead and so just you'll be making an attack, and just add your dexterity. Basically, it's on a rope, and you just kind of are throwing it down, and hoping to catch something as you move.
18.
18. Okay. And let me roll this here. Okay. So you kind of throw the net down, and you do have to wait a few minutes, but within about 10 minutes, you just kind of pull it up a little bit and check. And you do have a couple fish. They're a little on the smaller side, but I mean, for the ocean, they're decent size. I'll say I don't know saltwater fish. Personally, this is me talking, not in game. I'll say, are you looking up saltwater fish? Is there like a
Callian is
like a
advanced
cod?
knowledge on Stardew fish.
Yeah. I don't know. I know freshwater fish. I don't know saltwater fish.
Tuna.
And even that I don't really know. Ah, there you go.
A bass.
A bass. There we go. Yeah, all the fish.
bass.
I was gonna say salmon, but I'm pretty sure they're freshwater.
Yeah,
So-
those are river fish.
Most of them, yeah.
There's a lot of different types of
Very-
marlin that are
There you
also rather common for fishing.
Fuck it, marlin. That's what you. There's a couple marlin in there, and again, they're a little on the smaller side, but they're fish. Are you wanting to try to get something a little bigger? That would take more time. This took you about 10 minutes of just throwing it down in there.
I think he's quite proud because most of what you get in the river is like minnows and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Those look big to him, so he's happy with what he got.
Oh,
And he's immediately running to find Dunless, holding both of them, one each hand.
Okay. So you have them, and where do you look? There's the cargo hold area. There is the different rooms. The last you saw him was in the captain's quarters, or somewhere on the deck. Because you're kind of off to one side on the deck. You could look around up there, see if he's up there. Where do you want to look?
He's gonna search from deck first.
Okay.
First, kind of looking around where the captain's quarters had been, and then spreading out from there.
Okay. Make me just a perception check. Or actually, what is your passive again? It's high.
21.
21. I'll just say with your passive, you look around and you do see sorry, I'm trying to get that working. There we go. You do see Dunless on the far side from where you are, toward the back of the ship. You'd been kind of in the middle, and he was up. There's those stairs that go up onto like a secondary level, and he was on the back of that, just kind of looking back toward where you'd come from, which at this point you can't see where you picked him up. But he's kind of just looking, leaning against the railing a bit. And as you approach, just kind of looks over his shoulder at you. What do you need?
I got us a couple fish.
Yes. Thank you. And he kind of holds out a hand for one of them.
He hands it over.
And just holds it almost like somebody holds a turkey leg at like a Ren fair and just takes a bite out of it. And you see now, opening the mouth fully like that, there are a couple different rows of teeth. Not all super sharp, but there are a good number of sharper teeth, and just tears into it and eats it. Not a lot of disregard, or not a lot of regard for manners of any kind. But you do notice, does not waste any of it. Makes sure not to waste any of it.
Seth follows suit after the fact, almost mimicking how he eats it.
Okay.
So you, or at least that other guy, said that you were created.
Correct, yes.
How so?
I do not understand. What do you mean, how so?
What were you before?
He, at this point, finishes the last little bit. And again, none of it wasted. You didn't even see bone come out. Eats thing whole. And gets kind of a somber look. We were like the surface dwellers. We were cursed. At least that is what the shamans say, is we were cursed. But,
Why? Why do they think it's a curse?
well, Not everyone thinks it is a curse, but the shamans say it is. They believe it is a curse because it is trapped many of our people beneath the waves. I was one of the lucky few that were able to survive above the waves, able to breathe the air like the surface dwellers. But many of our brethren and sisters are not so lucky. Many of them are trapped in an eternal watery prison. If they were to come above the surface, they would suffocate. Much like if many of you were to go beneath the waves, you would drown.
But the ocean's so big. There's so much down there.
And there is so much we cannot do. Imagine you live most of your life, some of your life, even if it's only for a few years, walking on the surface. And then it is taken from you. Now, some of our people are natural-born tritons, but not all. Not most. There are natural-born tritons, but most of us in our community were cursed that way. Some see it as a blessing. We are mostly undisturbed by the surface world and their wars and their petty squabbles. But we have our own problems. And right now, as you are coming to see, one of those problems has taken our home.
You told me a little bit about who created you.
Yes. We believe it is the one that created us. Not the one that cursed us, but the one that created us. Our city was not always beneath the waves. We were created by the goddess. She brought us life when we were above the waves, and then when our city fell, and as did we were... Let me explain. The person that cursed us is the one that caused our city to fall. They are one in the same. It was one of our shaman. A betrayer.
Do you have a name?
We dare not speak it. We only call them the betrayer. He was quite powerful.
I don't fully understand what any of you went through. But I know the feeling of being trapped, having freedom and having it taken. Even if I don't remember a lot of it from before.
Then you know why this idol is important. It is a memory of what freedom we fight for.
There's others.
What?
Others like me. that are still trapped. I'm one of the lucky few that got out.
Okay.
I don't know what the others want. But maybe I could get help.
Help breaking the others out.
They don't deserve what they're going through. Most of them are like me, just born a certain way and then taken.
I cannot speak for my people. And if you help me, then I may help you. I have a mission I am on. I cannot promise my blade. I must complete my task first. My task extends beyond just getting this idol. But once I am done, then I may find you and I may lend my aid.
What is your task? Maybe we can be of more help, or at least I can be. I don't know if the others would want to, but
He gets very quiet and kind of looks away. I do not believe that is something I am going to speak about now. I do not know you that well.
yeah. Sorry,
Do not apologize. You are asking, and that is okay. But maybe another time.
maybe.
And he, still not looking at you, he mumbles something under his breath, which I'll say with your passive you can hear. It is in a... Trying to think. What languages do you speak?
Common and Elvish.
It's not quite Elvish, but it has a few words that sound a little more like Elvish words. Possibly they use the same script or same sentence structure as Elvish, but it isn't. It isn't Elvish. But it's more close to that. And he just kind of mutters something under his breath with his eyes closed, almost as if it's a sort of prayer. And then he looks to you finally. I must go pray. For what is to come. And if you are a religious sort to your gods, I would recommend you do the same. As for your friends, they may need that sort of guidance as well. What is to come is dangerous. You have not seen a threat like those who tread. I assure you that.
I don't really have any beliefs in the ones that they do. But I'm still interested to learn more about yours.
Then come. Do you follow?
Yes, he
Okay.
does.
Concelida, this has been within an hour. Since you went down in the cargo hold. Are you still currently down there?
Yeah, and she's reading over some letters.
Okay. Then I'll say, again, this is within an hour, maybe 30 minutes after you went down there. Maybe a little over. Seth and Dunless come down and they go to basically Dunless's claimed corner of the cargo hold. There's like an area where all the boxes have been moved, and there's some like different like candle type things over there, and that's sort of like his corner. Um, and as I'm curious, as for these letters, so you're looking over letters while you're down there. Seth, you and Dunless basically just start going over prayer. You don't really learn much more, but just it's sort of a repeat of the last time. However, one detail I will give you, Seth, is Dunless actually takes out his weapon, the very nice trident, sets it out in front of him, and as the prayer is happening, he splashes like water on it, and you do see it almost looks like barnacles begin to faintly appear along the handle and along the tips of the trident before fading, seeming doing some kind of ritual over it. But Concelida, while you've
Can
been
I
down
take
there,
notice over that?
yes. Oh yeah, this is happening. It's not hidden at all. Yeah,
She's just up on some boxes, watching them from like the side of her eye.
fair enough. And I'll say then what both of you do see is you see that happen. But yeah, I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say that now. Uh, but yeah, so you do both see that. So Consolida, while you're down there, I know you said you're reading some letters. Is there anything in particular you want to go over with that, or is that just what you're doing?
She's just going over some old letters sent by her mentor,
Ah,
taking note
yes.
of his old wise words and frustrated at how he's right every time, but learning.
Learning, yes. Okay. All right. Sapling, what about you? What would you like to be doing?
If I can find him, I did want to talk to Kyron about something.
I think that's reasonable. So you walk around, you do eventually find in Chiron. In Chiron, where would you be at this point? This is after you were done talking to Seth. Where would you have gone?
Well, after I was done talking to Seth, I might have stepped out a bit to enjoy the sea air.
Okay.
Stepped on deck.
And so then definitely you see in Chiron step on deck and you walk over and you meet.
If you have a second, I wanted to ask you about something.
Oh, there's quite a lot of that today. What is it?
He's going to reach into his apron pocket and kind of rummage around. It's not organized in there. He doesn't know what the fuck is in there half the time. And because he doesn't know what the fuck is in there half the time, he pulls something out. It looks kind of like a amulet of sorts. The, I guess, little token on it, the knot necklace part, is kind of it's in a spherical shape. It's kind of like a desaturated reddish kind of coral-esque color, and it has some grayish blue swatches on it. But he holds it out to you. He's like, I don't know when I got this or what it is, but it I know it's something I'm supposed to keep and hold on to. And it feels powerful in a way. I know that you're more knowledgeable in general, but also with things that are more of a magical origin. And I think this might be something like that. I was wondering if you might have any more idea than I do.
Well, I'm going to check it out then.
Okay, go ahead and make me an Arcana check.
Okay. A 15.
A 15. So, looking over this, it is... How to describe this? For its size, it is lighter than expected. It doesn't seem like it'd be fairly heavy, but it does still have that thing where you kind of take it in your hand and you're almost compensating for the weight, but that's not really there as you hold it in your hand. And you do sense that there is something magical in nature here, but the exact nature of it and what type, that would take a little more investigation and some more time. But just at a glance, you can kind of tell that it is magical in nature. You've seen some things like this in past cases that you've taken of just like magical artifact type things. And so you kind of know what signs to look for. But I'll say that's kind of what you get off of that. It would take some more investigation to really get anything or some type of magic that could tell you. But just off a look, that's kind of
Can
what you
I
get.
tell if it's cursed or not?
Off of a glance? Go ahead. Make me an insight check. And this, the
All right.
DC was kind of set by your Arcana check. Also, yes, we'll be taking a break in about 30 minutes. I have a timer set on my phone, so I don't skip past it this time.
Yay!
Yeah.
That is a 22 to my investigation. My insight.
Insight.
Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good.
Yeah.
Cursed. Here's what I'll tell you with your insight check. And you can interpret this how you want. There is something to this that gives you kind of an odd feeling. It just is kind of that thing where you almost feel, what's the word? Almost a little bit paranoid. But you can't really tell if it's cursed, if it's the nature of this thing, or if it's just you. But you almost feel just like there's something a little weird about this.
Well, this is certainly odd and magical, but I can't exactly say how. Hmm. Knowing, knowing about the other, I'm not saying this out loud, obviously. I'm going to give you this back. It might be best to hold on to this if you don't remember how you received it. That might be a little odd, but it might help you stay safe.
Oh, um, that that kind of lines up with my sort of gut feelings on it. Not that I know exactly why I have those, but I'll keep it. And he's actually gonna look at it, kind of be like, well, and like clasp it around his neck. Well, thank you. You had more insight on this than I did because I had like none. So thank you for at least taking a look at it.
Oh, it's no problem at all. Bring anything else you want looked at. I've got pretty good senses for these types of things.
Okay. So, anything else for the two of you?
Mm. I kind of wanted to talk to Dunless, but
You can. You can definitely go find him if you want.
Yeah,
to you.
I might as well.
Okay. So you go and you find so when you are walking around, you kind of look around, you do eventually find Dunless down in his little section of the cargo hold. And you see Seth sitting there next to Dunless. And I do have to ask, Concelida, are you, because I know you're up on top of the boxes, are you trying to be hidden?
No, she's just kind of relaxed. She's high up, obviously, near the ceiling, but it's more just like if you were sat on the rafters, dangling on a leg down, so you can be seen.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. You can see that they are down there. Um, and they're kind of, so for Seth and Dunless, they are sitting, Dunless kind of on his knees, sat back, praying over his trident. And you approach.
Before I probably won't want to interrupt. I'll probably wait till he's done with his little prayer to
Okay.
do anything.
Okay. Couple minutes go by at that point, and he sits up a little straighter, grabs the trident, and leans it against one of the crates on the wall. And you can see that it has changed slightly. There are barnacles on the along the weapon, and it does seem to have a very faint glow. And looks over his shoulder at you. What can I do for you?
Oh, well, I think that this goes for most of us to say that we haven't seen many like you, and it's very interesting. We were wondering if you had. Just generally very curious. Apologies if that's inappropriate, but you are a very unique individual to us. And it would be fascinating to get to know more about your people.
Ah, I see. Well, it is all right. I have not seen many people like many of you, at least not in some time. So, of course, come sit.
We'll sit.
And he will kind of, in brief, he doesn't go into too much detail on certain things, specifically the religious aspect, but he does mention it because you are going after the idol.
I would
Um,
like to listen.
Of course, you were there. You may do so. And
Yay.
actually, is there anyone else who would like to have their characters be there for any reason? Because
Merrick,
Merrick, because I knew Merrick was wanting to talk to Concelida, so it reasons that you might have gone looking and then stumbled into this. And in Chiron, you said you
Yeah.
do as well. Okay, and then I will just even though Ulrich is not here, I will just say Ulrich is here, and here's this information as well. That way, everybody's in the know. So basically, the information you're given by Dunless is that is kind of a brief history. They were once a surface-dwelling people with their city on the waves, as he puts it. There was a civil war between the people, some who wanted to follow the word of the goddess, and some who believed that the goddess was false and that she was leading them astray. The people that believed that they were being led astray, the betrayers, led by the betrayer, their naming for things is very simple, if you can't tell. It's very straightforward. There's not a lot of interpretation. It's very straightforward.
They're just a tribe of Seth, so we understand.
But yeah, so basically the Civil War happened, and what kind of went down was the shaman, the betrayer, cursed the people to live beneath the waves. Their bodies were morphed into the race of Tritons. the city actually physically sinking beneath the waves until it rested on the bottom of the ocean. To their race's surprise, they were now able to breathe and swim and live under the water, but many of them, not all of them, but many of them, were unable to really live above the waves. Some of them were able to, however, like Dunless, though they're not entirely sure why there is a difference between some. But ever since, they were living in the city of Merkalid, which is the name of the city. And within the last few years, there was a race of beings, or a type of being, nicknamed the ones who tread along the bottom of the ocean, and they attacked. And it was a wave of death. And eventually, the city was overrun, and they had to abandon it, with many dead. Many of the dead being converted into the ones that tread, only growing their numbers. And the ones that escaped, some of them wander the world to this day, but some of them, the ones you met, took shelter in a long abandoned underwater tunnel system. And that kind of brings you up to the modern day, where now Dunless is here with you, attempting to at least get their idol back. They don't really have hope of taking the city back at this point, but they do at least want to get the remnant of their religion, the thing that they fought for, so that they can at least remind themselves and keep morale up, and remember what they're fighting for. And that's
What
kind
if
of what
that
you
was
get.
never to return to him?
Do you ask that?
Yeah, just like having gotten more into the conversation, just like leans over onto her stomach, crossing her arms, kind of like a kid kicking her legs.
If it was not to be returned to us, we would survive, but our people would become splintered. The goddess kept us together. Welcome back. The goddess kept us together. She was a light in the darkness. And without her, we are conflicted, confused. It would help a lot to have her guidance again.
So, you want to retrieve the goddess from the vault?
In idol of the goddess, we will not be able to retrieve her, but she is... They cannot taint her light. They cannot taint her. She will find us. For now, we just need her idol.
What power does this idol have?
The idol, it doesn't really have a power. It is a idol made of metal. We pray to it, but it does not have power itself, unless you count us praying to it and the miracles it can bring through her as power.
This sounds familiar to some certain stories I was told as a child.
Well, thank you for sharing your story
Of
and
course.
all of the information. Our stories are not too dissimilar, surprisingly, but yes, much empathy to you and your people.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This may seem like a strange question, but do you know, you still have to breathe, yes? You are just able to pull the air out of the water?
Correct. Most of our people can pull the air out of the water, as you say. Some of us are able to pull from the air as well.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Yes. He looks, this is directed at all of you, but does look to Seth and says, You are interested in the religion. And then looks back to all of you. If we were not to get the idol, we would still follow her teachings, but we would lose connection with her love. But perhaps you all could benefit from part of her teachings. She has what she calls the 3 T's: trust, tolerance, and togetherness. And those are the tenets which we live by. I believe maybe that could help your group as well. It has certainly helped us.
They seem like good qualities to strive for.
Of course.
What were the 3 qualities?
Oh, say again? You're a bit muffled.
What were the qualities again?
Oh, they were trust, tolerance, and togetherness.
Yeah, it
Trust
seems
in your
like
neighbor, tolerance of others, and togetherness as a whole.
it seems
Okay.
like you pursue those traits with a tenacity, as it were.
I suppose that could be the 4th T.
How long ago did your home sink?
It was... Time is strange when you cannot see the sun. It is... maybe 30 of our years. Although even when we were on the surface, we were a disconnected people from most of society. We were not... You see, when I say we were a city on the waves, we were a city built on the waves, not on land. It was a city that floated on the waves.
So
So
I
we were not part
assume
of society.
you don't have any history books.
Only the history we wrote for ourselves.
Lovely.
Is this troubling to you?
Oh, only in the way it would be to a student attempting to learn new things. Different perspectives help you learn the true story. Having only one side is biased.
Ah, I see. Well, I am
I do
sorry to
not
disappoint.
mean any offense to say that your stories aren't true.
No offense would be taken. I know what is the truth. Therefore, I have no need to take offense.
Respectful.
Do any of you have any further questions?
More about your goddess.
Looks a bit
If you'd be
hesitant, but is like,
willing.
what would you like to know?
Oh, just how she may or may not have come into being a goddess and how you followed her. You know, just the beginning cycle, or has she always been there from what you know?
As far as I know from the inception of my birth, she has always been there. She watches over our city and keeps us safe.
Okay. I wish I had access to sending.
Yeah.
I need my nerd. I don't
What
know
is it?
how to.
What
I
is it,
wish I could
level
send.
4 now?
Level 3.
Level
Sending
3,
is-
level 3, level.
I don't
Next
even know if
level,
I have
I
access
will
to
have
it.
access to sending.
Hey.
I need the nerd. I don't know how to get further answers out of this.
I mean, hey, I don't know. Right now, you're gathering information. That is
Just as I
always a
can.
good step. Yeah, because you might not know what that information means yet, but you're gathering it, and maybe later
I'm
on you'll have an
gathering
aha
it, and
moment.
I'm having a paranoid.
Yeah?
Ah,
Why?
don't worry. It's not like we had to deal with certain things last campaign.
Yeah, I was gonna say you haven't yet. Not these
Yeah.
characters.
No. But certain stories hold certain things.
Yeah, of course. Um, but he does kind of. At this point, he reaches over and grabs his trident and looks over it and kind of inspects it. And I would say those of you that are martially trained in any way, you can tell very quickly he's very meticulous when looking over his gear. And you've seen this over the past couple days, but here as well. Very meticulous, almost trained, sort of ingrained thing of like looking over gear, making sure there's not a scratch, not a imperfection, making sure it's sharpened enough. And it's almost obsessive in a way.
Mm.
When we reach our destination, you cannot falter. You will see things that will try to play tricks on your mind. Those that tread are deceptive. Do not let them taint your mind. Do not
No,
show
sir.
mercy.
Is there nothing more you could tell us about those who tread?
They are unimpeded by the crushing pressure of the depths. You all may struggle a bit with the pressure down there, even when you can breathe. Our city has things in place to keep the pressure from harming you. So you will be okay, but it will impact your ability to move a bit. Those that tread...
Have you fought them before?
Have I what? Have I fought them?
Yeah.
Yes. My weapon has tasted their blood many a time. They are beings of undeath. They
Undeath,
are
you
us.
say?
Undeath, yes. They are us, but they are unnatural. Not touched by the goddess's light.
Strange.
They are difficult to kill. Even one is known to take down many men. Normal men.
Wait, so zombie fish?
Undeath.
Undeath, yes.
We did face an enemy at least touched by undeath relating to the sea earlier.
Perhaps you
So-
have faced them or their spawn, then. Although, did you face them on the surface?
It was
Yes.
on.
They are not known to leave the sea. Seeing them on the surface means they may be attempting to spread.
Well, we
I
don't know if it's the same thing.
I hope it is not, for the safety of your people. Well, those that tread are, as I said, creatures of undeath. So if you know any tricks to take down the undead, I would utilize them.
Um.
I have dealt with them before.
Uh.
I have some experience in the realm.
That is good. But I will warn you. I know that on the surface, when facing the undead, fire is something many will use to burn the dead. As you may think of, you will be underwater. Fire will be not very effective. So, I would not waste your time with it.
Hmm. So light would do the
Mm.
trick.
Yes. Fire is near ineffective, and they are known to be, since they are undead, not very well affected by necrotic energies either. But divine radiance and things like that seem to keep them down, at least for a time.
Oh, helpful.
But
Those of us with magic may also want to stay away from lightning, as we will be in the same water.
Yeah, that doesn't sound the brightest idea. I don't feel
that
like
is
being
a
fried.
that is
What
a
about
very good
weapons?
point.
I would try to swing a sword well underwater.
It will be difficult, and your skill sets may suffer, and that is why I do not believe fighting should be our main option.
Ah,
Fight
thank
only
God.
when necessary. Fight only when necessary. We are there to retrieve an artifact, not to
Yes, I
exterminate the
can be
place.
sneaky. I don't have to
Mm.
fight.
He has this look on his face. He kind of scrunches up his face like he's thinking about something. And then he kind of almost has that aha moment on his face. So, we are there to retrieve an artifact, but if you are... I understand this was not in the deal, but if you are willing to try something a little more dangerous,
Uh, um,
we may be able to rid our people of this curse. Or at least,
And what might that be?
if we can find and eliminate the shaman, we may be able to rid our people of this.
uh, does he live in the city?
He must. I believe he was the one that led those who tread to our city. He was their leader of a sort.
A necromancer.
Don't use that
Yes,
word.
I suppose.
I
That
will,
is what you call.
I look at Seth and back to Dunlas and say, I can say that at least I will do what I can to help you in this goal.
I'm a little confused. You say we are not here to fight, but if we get the chance to go and fight the shaman, who I assume is probably stronger than his um spawn.
Allow me to elaborate. The spawn are, as you put it, they are creatures of the depths. They have adjusted to the depths, the crushing pressure. But if we take out the shaman, the spawn, they travel in packs, in herds, and they will attack at once. But he is one man. If we can find him, get him alone, he will be at our mercy. And then we can bring the city back to the surface, break our curse. Those creatures will not be able to survive the surface. They have adapted.
If we do that, would you help with what I asked?
If you help me kill him, then I am your sword.
And I'm in.
But
As
I understand if the rest of you are not. It was not
I
in the
already said
original
that
deal.
I will help you with this.
is this a bad time to mention that I've never taken the life of anything?
Yes, me neither. But
Then
first time for everything?
do not be the one to
It's
land the final blow. I will happily do it.
I've
I
taken
am
lives.
aware. Yes.
I'm not partial to murder, but this does sound like a pretty bad guy. So,
Anything that
Yeah.
seems more like justice.
I could not agree more.
This is a heavy
If he truly,
conversation, and I'm going to leave out of discomfort. Now, bye.
Okay. And so Concelida leaves. And I think with that, as you all stew in that, we're going to go ahead and take our break. So we'll be back
Yay!
in 5 to 10 minutes
yay!
or so, and we will be right back. Hello, welcome back. We're back. Okay, so you guys were down learning from Dunless about the history of his people, and then Consolida, you walked off because it was getting uncomfy because everyone was like, yeah, we'll kill that guy who cursed your people and made your city sink. And you were like, but murder bad. And so you decided that that conversation was getting a little
Yeah.
heated, and you walked away.
I mean, like, I understand, and I will obviously help to get rid of bad person, but also it's still alive
For sure.
in a weird, horrible, twisted way.
Completely understandable. Where are you going currently, though? Where you leave? Where are you headed?
I'll go up to the front of the ship on the deck.
Okay. Head up toward the front of the ship, and there's a few people walking this way and that, just making sure the ship stays in good order. But you walk up there. Does anyone else leave as well? Does anyone else follow behind?
I will.
You will? Okay. And so you head up as well, following Consolida toward the front of the ship. Okay. And so, do you guys want to do anything while you're up there?
I'm going to attempt what I did the other day with my wings.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a wisdom save.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Wisdom save. It's a
Uh-huh.
16 on the dice plus a where's my wisdom? 3, 19.
Pretty good, pretty good. And so you bring them out, and it's not raining, so it is the optimal weather for this. The sun is out. And what is your exact intention? Like, in your head, what are you hoping happens?
Just attempting to get at least 5 feet off the ground and being able to hold it.
Okay. And so you hold them out, these spectral, sort of like, they look like they're physically there, but they don't like fold up. They kind of appear.
Yeah.
You take a deep breath and you look up, making sure you're not going to hit your head on anything. And it's clear above you. And some of the crewmates, like, as soon as the wings come out, they just immediately stop what they're doing and look and are like, oh, okay. And then they go back to what they're doing because it's you, and they've seen this already at least once. And you kind of give them a hard flap to try to get off the ground. And you kind of stumble a little bit. There was a little bit too much forward pressure there, a little too much forward momentum. You almost fall over. You stand up straight again. You flap again, adjusting, kind of lean back a little bit. And you are able to get that 5 feet off the ground and hold it. Do you want to try to do any more than that?
Sure.
Not really watching. He was there.
Yeah, and you see this. You see this happening, Orage.
If
you wanna try
anyone's
to do more?
seen Hotel Transylvania, the first movie, where
I did.
Mavis is trying to fly the first time and the wings are like really weirdly flapping but holding her up, imagine that.
Okay. At this point, make me an athletics check.
Athletics,
You've
yes.
gotten through the mental part of this. Let's see if you can do the physical part.
Physical part, athletics. Damn. 16?
That's good. 16's good. What are you trying to do at this point?
Maneuver left, right, up, down, back, forward.
Okay, you're just trying to see if you can move around. Okay. You can. You are able to... It is difficult. It is taking a lot of focus, and you're like having to focus on every movement. It's like when you're learning to do anything for the first time. That is a physical skill. You really kind of got to focus on everything you're doing because it's not second nature right now.
Yeah.
But you are able to maneuver around. It still feels a little shaky, but you're able to do it.
The pure amount of glee on her face.
However, I'm going to say this has taken about a minute,
Yeah.
and you know that it's going to fade. Do you go back down toward the ground, or do you fade midair?
Land. Oh, I
Okay.
don't.
What's that you cut out?
I don't know how to land, do I?
I don't know. You figured out how to move around. You were able to maneuver. Do you want to try to go downwards?
Sure, yeah, I'd like to land. I don't feel like ceasing in midair.
You can make either an athletics or acrobatics check for this one.
Oh, I was gonna ask for acrobatics, but that's it's a natural one.
Was that with acrobatics?
Well, acrobatics makes it a 7.
Okay. So here's what I'll say. It is still a natural one. Go ahead and roll me just a flat d20. Don't add anything.
But D20, that's a 10.
Okay. So you're moving around, you're like, oh crap, it's been about this long. I can feel them starting to fade. I need to go downwards. And you're kind of starting to move downwards, but you're kind of moving to the side as well toward one of the masts. And you weren't going down quite fast enough, and the wings just disappear. They just separate away. And you're like, okay, but I'm nimble. I'll try to parkour roll on the ground, roll on the shoulder so that you can, roll out of it. That's the athletic or the acrobatics part of it. And you don't quite follow through with the roll. And so you put your shoulder down and just slam your shoulder into the ground.
Oh.
And it's the same shoulder that got hit by Seth before.
Okay.
I'm
Ugh.
gonna start coming down below.
Yeah, you just kind of thunk. And yet Consolidate, it's like, it just kind of, it hurts, and it's not great. And you might have dislocated it, but you can't really tell right at the moment.
I'm gonna lay on the ground and stay there. Ow.
He's just smiling at this moment. You have interesting form.
Oh, shut up. Ow. How long were you watching?
A whole minute.
Is
Oh,
everybody
damn it.
okay up here?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll walk over to Contelida and help her up.
And
So
in Chiron,
gripping
you
her
see Consolida getting up off the ground, looking pained.
Do you need a medical assistance?
I don't know. I can't. Everything hurts now.
Let's just get you to sit down real quick.
I was sitting, and then you made me stand.
You need a
Ulrich.
change. Yes.
Go ahead and make me a quick medicine check.
I will. Where's medicine? There it is. Oh, they blessed me. I got an 18.
18. Definitely dislocated.
Oh. You know what? I feel like this is coming. Hey, DM. Ulrich is gonna look at the shoulder, look back at Consolida, and just be like, let me just relocate that for you.
Wait, what?
Okay, are you going to attempt to relocate it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will need another medicine check. I'll say because you gave it a good look, I'll give you advantage.
Yeah. It's only a 12.
A 12? Okay.
Uh-oh.
You're like, all right, I'm going to relocate that for you. And Consolida, when you went, wait, what? You kind of turned a little bit as Ulrich was going to do it. And so it pulled a little bit. I'll say it does get put back into place, but it's a little more painful than it could have been because you turned your body when you went, wait, what?
And now everyone is partially deaf because that hurt, and I'm going to scream.
Okay, and so you just scream. All of you that are still down below hear this. Dunless immediately shoots up, trident in hand, and is rushing to the top deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your weapon ready.
Okay.
I'm
Ulrich,
down.
my darling brother, I
Don't
only
tell
have
me
one
that.
reaction to you.
Yeah.
Don't suppose a 19
Oh, no.
hits.
Yeah. That certainly hits.
Great, you get sucked in the face as a response.
What is going on up here?
What are you doing?
I'm holding my
As
face.
far as I can tell, Consolida got hurt, and Ulrich tried to help, and it seems
How?
that it worked, but
We tried to relocate her shoulder, but then she stopped me.
No, you could have done that so.
You turned around.
You're supposed to ask someone if they want help first.
Well, you're just gonna say no if I were to ask, so.
Well, duh, because you did this.
Okay. My schnoz.
Your schnoz
Need
has been
fixing
punched.
anyway.
Why are you such? You're just.
Oh no, maybe because someone just put me through a large amount of agony.
I tried to make it less painful, but you turned at the worst
Less?
possible time.
Because you didn't ask.
Oh my god.
now
If I asked you would have said no, then I would have walked away. Then you would have gone to someone else. I just wanted to throw it.
no,
Just looks at
it's
the Chiron.
okay. Your shoulder is better, and you have discussed thoroughly what happened. We can all be okay now, correct?
Fine.
Dad in Chiron comes in. Are we good now? We're good. I love that. That's amazing.
Now,
We love
I
him.
would like you two to apologize to one another.
What?
Every-
I didn't do anything.
You shot me in the face.
You hurt my shoulder more than it was.
I tried.
Now,
I told
now,
you
now,
I was gonna
Ulrich.
relocate it.
Ulrich, please apologize to Consolida for hurting her shoulder, even accidentally.
I'm sorry, Consola.
And now, Consolida, please apologize to Ulrich for punching him in the face.
Crossed arms, just grumpy, like pissed off, pouting, just silently staring at him.
Consolida, Ulrich apologized to you. And now...
I'm sorry.
I couldn't hear that.
Very good.
No. I could not hear that. Speak up.
I, Consolida, would like to apologize for sucking you in your ugly ass face.
Oh, you know what? You're uglier. Piss off. I accept your apology besides that point.
We will work on your apologies, Consolida.
Yeah.
I was just trying to mind my own business and then you be freaking
Very funny.
I'm surprised you didn't fall off the ship.
I
Just
wish I
walk
did.
away. Then what? Go home.
Then I would have
Go home.
what? And I was like, walk away, coward.
Oh, okay. He walks back and is like punches her in the arm before walking away.
Ow!
Nice one.
Freaking arm. Stabbed, dislocated, punched. What's next? Just cut it off if it's gonna get us in the way so much, please.
20 years later.
You don't want that.
Dunless walks up. Is that a genuine question? Do you
No,
genuinely
no.
Oh, okay. And then he goes back downstairs.
Sit on the bed, lay there.
Okay. So, Any other things that you guys would like to do on this day? Hmm? Any other conversations? Speak
I
now,
was
forever
aware
hold your
Merrick wanted to
peace.
do something.
That is why I'm off opening the door. But you do not
I
have
mean,
to
a
take
lot
it.
of
If
stuff happened since then, so it's probably not a good time to do it.
okay, if that is
Uh,
what you feel, that is okay. I will not force you. Okay. Well, then throughout the remainder of this day, um you guys are asked to do a few tasks around the ship. It's nothing major. It's mostly just like, hey, can you help move this thing over here? At one point, Barnacle asks, I'll say, asks Sapling, and is like, hey, can you, you do? I heard briefly you did stuff with flowers, right? Am I right in that?
mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Do you? I want to do something special for a dessert for um for tonight's meal. Just some decorative flowers and stuff, but I need help knowing what's edible and what isn't. Could you lend your aid?
Oh. No. 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 I can't.
Oh, you can't. Oh, okay. That's fair. Um
No, no one, I don't think anyone here would know anything about that. It's very
oh,
dangerous
okay.
to mix flowers at whim, sorry, with your food. Probably not a good idea, but,
Oh.
a good thought.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, honestly, that helped more than I think you know. I'll keep that in mind. Uh cool.
Well,
Thank you.
maybe not real flowers, but I am familiar with the visuals of a lot of them. And if you wanted to, I don't know what kind of dessert you're making, but if you wanted to do any arrangements, I could help you make them look like, real flowers instead of attempts at
Oh,
flowers.
oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'd love that. I'm doing like sort of like a cookies and different things like that. Yeah, no, I'd love that. And do you at that point do you help him in doing so?
Yeah.
Okay. He is just making various types of cookies and whatnot, and his original idea was he was sort of in the very basic frosting on top. It was gonna just have like some pressed in different flowers that would complement the color of the frosting and whatever. But doing something and making it more look basically our idea was just to confirm it was to make them almost look like flowers.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, go ahead and make me a you'll have advantage on this because this is like your flowers are your thing. Go ahead and make me a I'll either say a dexterity check or you could do I'd give you a performance check, whichever you'd prefer.
Ooh. Now let's take a look see about which I would prefer.
Yeah. And either way
Well,
you'll have
one of these
advantage.
things is with charisma, so.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a 19 in performance.
Perfect. Okay, and so you are able to, excuse me, you are able to go through and aid in the baking of these and shaping of these in order to make them. Obviously, they don't look exactly like a flower, but like compared to what he was gonna do, it. Yeah, you definitely kind of guide the hand a little bit to look a little bit better. And when they're done, they're some very like vibrantly colored different cookies and things, and most of them are just like a very plain sugar cookie type thing, not super sweet, but most of the sweetness comes from the frosting that was put on them, which was it's a pretty one of those like really thick, and it almost once it sets it's like really hard, kind of more an icing on top. But yeah, they look pretty good. And that's just like a little dessert after the main meal, which the main meal tonight is just a very simple stew that uses some of the dried jerky and things that's been soaked in the broth for a while, so it softens up a bit. Kind of like a beef stew type thing, but not with as many vegetables. Because those, at this
Yummy.
point, there aren't a lot on board. But good meal, and that is the meal that you all share in the night. And all in all, the day goes by without incident. Anything anyone want to do before bedtime? If not, we'll move on to the morning. And this will be the morning of the last day until you are set to arrive. And you guys wanted to arrive at night, so you'll be arriving that night. Anything anyone wants to do the night before, however? No? Okay.
Collect the
yeah.
things I need.
Collect things you need? All right.
Flares, the fabrics, rope, maybe.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get... The fabrics were prepped for you as well as the flares, and as far as rope, there's plenty on board of just spare rope, just in case some of the ropes on the rigging and stuff were to snap. They do have plenty of extra. I'll say you can probably get... Is there a certain amount of, like, length of rope you're looking for?
200?
200? You can definitely get 200. They're basically 4 50-foot coils.
Yeah.
Of hempen rope. And so there you go, you have that. And as far as flares, you're given, they could only spare 10. And they burn for about an hour each, but after which they would go out. And as far as the cloth, I'm not going to give you an exact number on that. Basically, we'll just say, as you're going, you have enough to mark your path.
Yeah, okay.
But there you go. So you have all of that. They also set aside some rations just in case you guys are in there for a little while. It's mainly just jerky and like hardtack and stuff like that. Which, hey, hardtack, you'll be underwater, so it'll soften a little bit. It'll also get a little salty. It'll actually have flavor. Woo. Except not great flavor because it's the ocean. But anyway, there you go. Okay, so you have all of that ready. Let's see what else.
I will go to Consolida while she is running around collecting things. It took me a while to get things all ready and set, but I hope that these can at least serve you for some time, and I will take out the shoes that she asked for me to make for her.
Oh yeah, she's been running around barefoot because she threw the other ones away. Oh, thank you. I forgot.
Oh, it's no problem at all. And after I give them to her, I'm going to, like, kind of pat before going back to milling about.
Buffering cat.
All right.
She should put them on. And just like, hey, people, kindness.
Yeah, kindness. Oh my god. I mean, I would say with the skills and everything that in Kyron you have, and I believe I had you do a roll for that as well. They're good. They fit very well, and they definitely are better than what you had before, which were in tatters, and probably didn't fit as great anymore. These are definitely will need some time to break in, as new shoes often do, but they're very comfortable.
Yay.
I'll say, since you're up there running around, and I'm not sure where everyone else is at the time, I will say that you do notice there is a storm coming in, and it's coming in fast. And something you were told when you were given the mission out to go this way, and you were shown the map and everything, is there are storms, and some freak storms, that as you get out this way begin to happen. So so that's something to keep in mind, and that's why, as you may remember, many captains don't go out this way. You're just with one that's really crazy, and so that's why he is.
They are the best.
Yes. And you do notice that the captain has clocked it. He does see it. He's kind of watching it, and he starts shouting things to some of his men about it. Basically getting things locked down, getting things ready. Anything that isn't bolt down, bolt it down, or put it under the deck. And the rest of you, I'll say, are informed as well. A storm is a brewing, and it ain't going to be a good one. So, all right. As you all are approaching the storm, is there anything any of you would like to do in preparation?
Do we still
Hide.
Find Seth and be there.
Yeah, probably go to Seth, but also, do we still do the ritual casting thing?
What do you mean?
Campaign 1, I was aware that Galliard took the time to use this a lot, but he, instead of using a spell slot, could cast a spell as a ritual.
Oh yeah, that's just a thing you can do if the spell can be cast as a ritual. Which, if you look at your spell, it'll... I don't know how it shows up on places like D&D Beyond, but on places like Wikidot, if it can be cast as a ritual, next to the casting time, it'll say R, or it'll just say ritual. If the spell can be cast as one, but not every spell is like that. And it takes 10 minutes plus the normal casting time.
As a ritual is a detect magic, which I know can be cast as a ritual.
I'm not sure. I don't think Longstrider is necessarily one I can cast as a ritual.
I don't believe, but I can
No,
double check.
I don't think so.
Longstrider, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll double check. I don't believe it can, though. Let's see. Ow, my eyes. Casting time, 1 action. Nah, it's only an action to cast. But yeah, basically, if you're not familiar, this goes for any of you. If it can be cast as a ritual, it's basically just 10 minutes plus the normal casting time to cast it.
All right, thank you.
All right.
I'll just go comfort the fish.
Comfort the fish. Okay. I am actually just prepping one thing real quick. Nope, that's not how you spell that. Because there's one thing, sound-wise, that I want to have. Is this what I'm looking for? We'll go with this one. I like this one better. Okay. I'm actually just really quickly adding a new sound effect because for the sounds, because I want to have the sound of a storm as you guys are going through the storm.
Yay.
Woo. And I'm trying to actually keep my sounds organized because they were not before. There. And then also, how is the sound level? I did change them up a little bit.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Because I decreased them because the problem I was having before is I couldn't fucking hear you guys. So I have turned it down so I can hear you. Turn that up. Okay, there we go. So, rain is going. There we go. So, as you all batten down and get ready for the approaching storm, it's pretty tame in the beginning. And you begin to hear, are all of you down in the cargo bay like you were before, kind of huddled in between the boxes?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So you're all huddled down there. And you're safe. This is a safe spot. You've got everything. Most of these boxes have ropes and things tied to them so they don't move around. Also, I'll turn the thunder off. Maybe that'll help a little bit with that. But yeah, so you all... There's thunder in that one too. Didn't know that. Okay, so you all batten down there. Safe spot. And that's what I needed. There we go. Rain begins to come down. The ship lurches a bit this way and that. But all in all, it's pretty tame. About an hour goes by. And some food's brought down to you guys. Just that way you're eating. And you do hear the sound of song. Song begins to play on top of the deck as the crew, in order to keep morale up, keep them working, begins to play music. And you hear the captain barking orders. You start to hear it gets a little more heavy. The rain begins to pour, and it almost sounds like millions of feet stomping on the deck. And you hear somebody very faintly from where you guys are shout that there's hail. There, hail, little chunks of ice. And you can hear it striking the deck harder and harder. And the ship begins to lurch. You hear a large bell, ding, 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 from the ship, signaling something. Also, as I describe things, if you do want to do anything, you can say so. Just cut me off. Time goes by, about an hour, and it doesn't get better. But you stay where you are. And the ship begins to rock, and the crates around you are tied down, but you can tell they're wanting to shift. They're wanting to fall over. And you can feel the ship almost tilting to the side. And then straightening, and then tilting to the other. And straightening again. Dunless seems attentive, but he doesn't seem worried. But he does seem very attentive. He's got his trident almost kind of dug into the ground, into the wood, to keep himself in place. And is just kind of down on his knees, almost in the same way that he prayed. And is just facing the steps. But he doesn't really do anything or say anything. So are you all just sitting there? Is there anything any of you would like to do?
Cry.
Cry? Okay. S'mores.
Crying is a free action.
Crying is a free action.
Crying is a free action, yes. Very accurate, yes. And so you cry. That is what you do. And you all sit there. You are nestled in your space. And then in the distance, you hear the roar of some kind of beast from outside. And you hear the sounds of the crew just shouting and running around, barely able to hear their footsteps from above. Do you all stay where you are?
Well,
That
I
is an
guess we
option.
better go.
You can stay where you are. That is an option, and you can just see how it plays out.
I think we should probably go up there.
Yeah, I'll go face the giant squid.
Well, we'll go with whoever's going because they need protection.
Let's go.
Okay. So you go.
Peek my head out.
Quick question.
Yes.
What is Dunless doing?
At the sound of the first roar, he kind of looks at all of you to see what you're doing. And then at the mention of we should go, he stands up and begins to make his way up the steps.
Seth only goes because he's going. Otherwise, he would be staying right where he was.
We know.
Right next to Seth. Before we get on top deck, I am casting Warden on him. That is +1 to your AC and saving throws, and I take half your damage, pretty much.
I would like to cast as well.
What are you casting, Consolida?
True strike.
True Strike. Okay. Let me just confirm something to make sure of a thing with True Strike, because I always forget how it works. Ah, come on. There it is. Ow, my eyes. I will tell you, True Strike, I would save that to cast right before you're about to make your first attack, because it only lasts a round, which is 6 seconds.
Ah, okay.
So
Yeah,
once
I'll
you
do that
you
then.
basically, if you were to cast it now, 6 seconds go by and it's gone.
Okay. Then I'll save that for later.
Okay. Yeah.
I will
I mean,
also
that's good.
precast on. I'm gonna say on Consolida, I will precast Protection from Good and Evil, which I prepared between days because of the whole undead thing that we're dealing with.
Thank you. What does that do?
Undead will have disadvantage on attacks against you,
Oh, yeah.
and you can't be charmed, or frightened by an undead, I believe.
Ah.
Okay. That's some good stuff right there.
Plus some other stuff, like there's some other stuff. It's not just undead. It's just I know that we're fighting undead soon.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
I
think
would
it's
also like to
oh, yeah,
cast a spell on myself. It's a false life.
you said you want to cast False Life?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
That is Aberration,
Temporary.
Celestials, Elementals, Faith.
Perfect. Okay. Anything else? Anyone would like to precast? Those that haven't? No? Okay. So, perfect. So you guys, Consolida, you said you were just kind of peeking up?
Yeah. Where's the
Okay.
squid?
You're expecting to see a squid, and you look up. You don't see a squid. What you see is, first off, there is hail. It's not massive like golf ball sized pieces of hail, but small, basically hits the deck, and within a few seconds, within a few seconds is melted, or almost melted. But yeah, like little nerds, like the candy, just. But what you do see, expecting a squid, you do see something that is moving through the waves, very long, very large. But you don't see a squid. As its head comes up out of the water, you see a large serpent.
Oh.
It's probably, at your best guess, it's probably about 20 feet in diameter. So 20 feet across. Definitely could eat a person in one bite. And its head pops up above the water, and it spits something out of its mouth. And as it hits the deck, it starts to sizzle.
Oh.
As it just narrowly misses a crew member. So at this point, I'm gonna need all of you to roll initiative.
We have a problem, guys.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna have to go.
and to answer
guys, we
Sapling,
have a
it is a
problem.
serpent.
A serpent.
A giant
I
20-foot
see.
diameter serpent. And as far as length, you can't really tell because most of it's under the waves.
Ooh, not that shabby. That's good.
That is shabby.
And you know what? We're going to go ahead and get a little bit combat music.
Uh oh. We're in danger.
I like pirate combat music.
I do too, although I kind of want to go to the next.
Yarg.
Yarg.
There we go. All right, so let's see what those initiative rolls are. I didn't have it done for today, but I'm working on a little thing that I can make. I'm going to 3D print it, where I can just really quickly put your initiatives on it, so that I have it just really quickly. Don't have it yet though. Let's just do paper and pencil for now. Where's my paper? We'll use this. Random piece of paper on the ground. Come here. Okay, so let me roll. We're gonna do kind of like I did for the last ship combat, where it's just the ship and crew all go at once. Cool. And very good. So, I'm gonna say, Sapling, 1 or 2?
2.
2? Okay, because I rolled both the dice for the crew and serpent at once, and I don't really want to re-roll them, so I'm just like, which one is which? Okay, there we go. For better or worse. Okay. Oh, why is this not writing? Come on, pencil. There we go. What the fuck? Hello? You are a pencil. You should not be this hard to use. What the fuck? Okay. Better. There we go. Alright, so that's you. Seth, you'll be up next. What is your dexterity? Okay, got it. So then... Apologies, bear with me for a moment. That's better.
Y'all don't have to use your brain this session. Also us.
I mean, don't worry. It'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fighting.
Yeah. It is a...
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah,
Shut
worst,
up.
what is the worst? And then I'm just going to make sure I got everyone here, because I have forgotten people before. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're good. Okay, so I'll just read off the initiative order, and then I'll just kind of, like, when you're up next, I'll tell you you're up next. So it is Concelida. It is Seth. It is the Serpent. It is in Chiron, the ship and crew, Sapling, Ulrich, and Merrick. I believe I got that order correct. So, there you go. It's kind of, so sporadic throughout. Serpent's pretty early, but not too early. Concelida, you're up first. Seth, you'll be up next. Concelida, what would you like to do?
How far away is the snake, serpent?
You're currently in the center of the ship. It is 40 feet. Also, that is, when I'm referring to distance from you to it, it is from the closest part of its body. If you want to target a specific part like its head, let me know and I can tell you distance there. But it is a very large creature, so it covers a large area. But I'll tell you, like, distance to the closest part of its body.
Okay. Then I'm going to use my movement speed to go up the mast. then I learned a new spell. I would like to use my new spell.
All right.
I am going to attempt to smack this serpent with a sickening ray.
Ooh, a sickening ray. Is that a save from it or a roll for you?
It is a roll for me. What is that? Oh, that's a natural 20 to hit.
A natural 20. That'll definitely hit. And real quick,
Oh.
before you roll anything else, just go ahead and roll me a D100.
A D100. Right,
Yep.
yes, because
'Cause
we have that.
sick-ass table.
Where are my D? There it is. 88.
88. Okay, let me grab the table real quick. Okay, so on this new table, similar to the old one, the old 88, it dazes the creature as it hits this bolt of sickening energy directly in the face. As its head came up out of the water, it just gets hit with this, and it hits it in the one eye, and it'll have disadvantage on any roll during this round of combat.
Yay! I
After
did
this
a
round, it'll
thing.
fade.
Okay.
You did.
So that is 14 poison. Well, no, 28 poison damage.
Yep, because you double it. There we go. 28 poison. And let me double check our thing. I don't believe this would affect anything. Okay. I will not tell you if it did or not, but it does look like it took a good amount of damage there. It does look like it took the brunt of that hit. Is there any secondary effect to that spell, or is it just the damage?
Let me read it. Ray of sickening greenness, energy lashes out towards creature, and then you make rage again. Target poison damage. It must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, it is also poison until the end of my next turn.
Ooh, that could be really good for you guys. A con save, you said?
Yep.
Let's roll that. It's going to be a 16.
Look at what
Does
I
it get disadvantage on this roll because of the whole...
That is correct. Still a 16. Second roll was a natural 20.
I'm gonna assume it succeeds. 'Cause I can't
What's yours?
I don't know. I have two different ones, and I don't know which one to go off.
Where does the spell come from? Like, what did... Because it would go off of, like, where that spell came from. Which class it went to.
I'm not good at wizardy magic things. I don't know what
It's
you're
not
asking.
thief. It's not from your thief spells, because your thief spells can only be enchantment or illusion. What is your other spell save DC that isn't Arcane Trickster?
Actually, that's a really good point. Did you take that as an Arcane Trickster spell?
I did, yes.
Then you can't.
Ah.
Because it has to be... That is a good point. I forgot about that. I haven't played an Arcane Trickster in a while. It has to be from one of those schools. So I will say, if you did take it as that spell, is it a spell you have access to with your other class?
I believe so.
Possibly.
I don't know spells as much as someone here
Well,
might.
you
I
can
thought
look.
you got
Just
a
look at
free
your
spell of any school at certain levels as an arcane trickster, or is
Right,
that
but
only
are
an
you that
eldritch
level?
thing?
Are you that level yet? Because I will say I actually forgot that rule. Let me look at Arcane Trickster. I mean, for right now, I will allow this spell to have happened, but I
Yeah.
would have to take it from you after. Because, yeah.
That's alright.
The spells you learn at 8th, 14th, and 20th level can come from any school of magic.
Gotcha. So you're not quite of that level yet.
Okay.
And actually, yeah. So I will say we'll look at it later. I'll let this cast have happened.
Yeah.
But it'll have to. It'll basically, here's how we'll story rule it. You took the time to learn it and figure it out, and you figured out how to cast it.
I just got really lucky with it, and now I can't do it anymore.
It kind of is.
It does
It's kind of
say-
like beginner's luck, essentially. It happened, and you're gonna try and do it again. And it's like it's not working. Why is it not working?
That
But maybe
first
at a
high
later
was
level
good
you can
enough
take
for
it.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
Then, as a bonus action, I'll simply just hide in the crow's nest.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead and make me the stealth check since you're attempting to hide.
Stealth check. 24.
That's a good point. Thank you for actually sending that, Merrick. So there is your ruling on how that works. So there you go. Okay, so actually, never mind. That works. So, where are we at? Oh shit! I dropped my pencil. No, come back. Where did you go? That's not my pencil. What the
Death
fuck are
and then
you?
this serpent.
Yeah. Apologies. What was? I'm sorry. What was that stealth roll?
24.
Yeah, you're good. You are like pretty confident you're hidden, and it
I basically
kind of
just
was,
shot a green firework and then just vanished.
well, yeah, and basically it got like half blinded for a second there, and so it looks back and you're gone, and it looks pissed. Okay, well that would be you. So Seth, you're up now, and then the serpent's up next.
I'm gonna make this quick, because then I have to leave immediately after.
Yes, you do.
Tasha's Caustic Brew, he's gonna move 10 feet forward, so he can do that, because we were at 40 feet from it, correct?
Correct. And it isn't like on the ship at all, but yes.
So it will have to make a dex save. DC is... Find it. Dang it. I didn't write it down.
Would it be a 17 or above?
Good question. I just something over.
I don't think
Does
so.
anyone remember how to make DCs for this shit? Because I don't remember.
No,
8 plus your spell attack bonus.
Yes. Which spell attack bonus is just proficiency plus your spellcasting mod.
What do sorcerers use?
Charisma.
It was
I will say,
Charisma.
knowing that I have the highest spell save DC of the group, and I'm comfortable saying that because I've maxed
saves.
out Wisdom,
Yeah.
and we have no magic items, and mine is 15.
Yeah. And so Seth, you said what?
No, it definitely
What,
saves.
what is it? You got a 16? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think it was a 12.
12. Oh, yeah, no,
No.
that was a 17 on
Yes.
the die, so yeah. Okay, well, what happens if it succeeds?
I was checking. Nothing.
Okay, good and do. roll
Did
me
he
on
do
the
that
100,
dex
please.
saving throw at disadvantage?
You're right. See, keep me honest. Yeah, that was the exact same roll.
Okay,
Exact same roll.
gotta make
Um,
sure.
What am I doing?
D100. You should know why.
Five.
5. Let's see what you get. All right, let me. Sorry, I have to actually get it pulled up. I know. Actually, this will work considering you have to go. Okay. So, Seth, you cast this. And again, you're not really sure how it's happening. You just have kind of an intent. You need to get this thing. This thing's bad. Whoosh, it happens. But again, you're not quite in control of it. And so it goes out, has no effect. It just misses. And then you start feeling this really weird sensation. And you start to feel really hot. And then anybody who's looking in Seth's direction just sees him go and just vanishes. Just literally like he
What
gets
the-
sucked into like a thing and just gone.
Well, we didn't need him then.
Does
Set this kill.
I will
is
tell
my
you Oh, go ahead.
is my warding bond broken?
Is it concentration?
No, but it ends if he gets out of within 60 feet of me.
Oh yeah, it definitely ends then.
Got it.
And
I
Seth,
love
what you
wasting
see-
an 8-hour spell.
I know. I'm sorry. Seth, what you see is suddenly you're still on the ship, but everything is almost has this bluish haze and is slightly translucent, and you're not really sure exactly what happened or where you are, but you're still there. But like just at a touch of like let's say you go up to like one of your friends, like, what's going on? Your hand just passes through. I will tell you,
Oh.
you're transported to the ethereal plane.
Ah.
For how long?
He sees the
Because Connor
ethereal
has to leave
creatures.
right now. Connor until Connor gets
Until
back.
Seth comes back. Got it.
Normally it would only be for like the round, but because Connor has to actually leave and won't be back by the time, or might be. No,
Fair
he
enough.
definitely won't be back. Then yeah, that just I'm breaking the rules because Connor's got to go. But there you go. Enjoy. You just went and you're gone. But yeah, there you go. Okay. Bye bye. There we go. Oh god. Oh, yep. Connor left and it made my whole shit froze. Okay, we're good. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so that'd be Seth's turn. Now it's the serpent, and then after the serpent is in Chiron. So, take a look at what you want to do. The serpent. Let me go ahead and grab its stats again because I had to swap off that page. It is going to. Having been shot in the face, it's not really happy about that. It's going to use its ability here, and it is going to attempt to dive and hide. And Seth has vanished, so he's not in play right now. So do any of you have a passive perception of 15 or higher?
Did it roll with disadvantage?
Yes,
It
Me
did.
too.
It did.
I have 15. Exactly.
15. So you can see, any of you with a passive of 15 or higher can see that it is dived below and is making its way a little bit below the ship. Looks like it's going to the other side of the ship. If it was on sort of like the left side, it's moving over to the right side. If you do not have a 15 or higher, you can attempt to use an action to perceive it, but otherwise you just don't see it. Okay. That's actually its turn. So in Chiron, you're up, and then it's over to the ship.
Well, I am going to say, it's going to the other side out loud to everyone so everyone can hear me. And then I don't believe anyone is hurt. So I'm going to go over to one of the cannons on that side, and I'm going to ready an action to shoot it when it surfaces.
Perfect. Okay. And I'll just tell you, go ahead and get 4d6 out, or get that ready. So, because that's what you'll need. Okay, and that's going to be your readied action. There we go. Okay, and so you take over one of the cannons. There are still a few over here, which the crew get on, and I'll say they're also going to ready an action to do so. Kind of following in what you're doing. So there's that. So now it would be over to Sapling, and then Ulrich, you'll be up next, although I think you're gone. So that's fine. But Sapling, you're up now.
Well, is it possible to ready an action to cast a spell?
Yes, you can. What spell do you want to cast? And is the triggering condition when you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the spell?
That's what I'm trying to decide. I think I'll ready my action to schlonk an eldritch blast at it when I see it.
Heck yeah. Just go and throw an Eldritch Blast. Okay.
Cool.
Perfect. Do you want to do anything with like bonus action or just readying the action?
I don't think I have anything I can do with bonus action, so I suppose not.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Let's see here. Give me a second here. Okay, sorry, I was reading through the no mic chat right now because, yeah, we'll go over your spell list just to make sure, because I want to make sure you don't got to fiddle with it too much in the future. We'll fiddle with it, and I'll make sure that we're on track and things. But anyway, we're good. Where were we? Okay, so, Ulrich, are you back? Do you happen to be back? If not, then we'll move on to Merrick. But if you are back, Ulrich, I will let you do stuff.
Ulrich is here and no mic.
Here, no mic. Let me get no mic.
You just can't talk.
Gotcha. That is unfortunate.
I can
Well,
dictate.
go ahead. I've got no mic up. Just tell me what you want to do on your turn, and I will read it off for the people that cannot see the chat. Try Frostbite. Let me get up the spell to see what needs to happen for that. And also just to make sure. I will tell you, so Ulrich, what is your passive perception? Because I think you were gone.
I did point out that it was going to the other side.
You did point it out. Okay, so then I will say you could see it, because you can still see part of its body since it was pointed out. It isn't fully underneath. It's got a 60-foot range. It needs to make a con save. You do want to, if you want to cast Frostbite, I'll go ahead and make it make a con save. What is its plus to that? That is going to be a 12. What is your spell save DC? And that was with disadvantage. 14. And I said it was a 12. So it fails. Go ahead and roll me the damage on that. And then it has disadvantage on next weapon attack roll before the end of its next turn. So even after this round ends and the disadvantage is done, the next weapon attack still has disadvantage. That's brutal. Keep giving it that disadvantage. Only two damage is 2 damage. And what type of damage? Okay, so here's a thing. It does still get the disadvantage. But you notice as the frostbite hits, it doesn't seem to have any effect. It doesn't seem to have taken the damage, but you did learn something there. That it didn't seem to take the damage from cold. So something to keep in mind. Information is half the battle. So there you go.
Knowing is half the battle. The other
knowing
half
is
is
half the
gratuitous violence.
Screen paused.
So there we go. Stream paused. Oh, shit, because I did the wrong thing. There we go. Still, is it back on?
Yep.
Cool. Nothing else really? Cool. Then we'll move on to Merrick, and then Consolida, you'll be up after that. Let me go ahead and cross Seth off. So, Merrick, what would you like to do?
So I can't see where it went. However, I heard in Kai wrenched out that it went over to the other side.
Correct.
So,
And can, now that
drawing
it's
the
been
long
pointed out. Oh, sorry, not to cut you off. Now that it's been pointed out, you can see part of its body.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's a very long creature. So, Chiron was like, it's going under the ship, and you can still see part of it on the other side.
So I can still see part of it? Alright.
Part of it. It's a very long creature.
Alright, in that case, I'm going to, as long as it's within 90 feet, and I can still see it, I'm going to cast Hack on it. And it's going to have disadvantage on ability checks made with dexterity.
More disadvantage.
So much
I am a bit. I'm sorry.
disadvantage.
Debuffs!
Okay. All
And then
right.
from there, that's the bonus action. From there, still kind of having my hands free because I'm gonna just weave together this sort of like green fire in my hands with a nice little black core, and then I'm gonna just both hands uh, fling it at this creature, and that's an 18 to hit, a 14 plus 4, a
That
firebolt.
will hit.
A firebolt. Guess I didn't say that.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
fine. That will hit.
So that will impact with 3 points of fire damage and 3 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
Just like whatever like largest mass part of it I can hit, just trying to, aim for something there.
Perfect. Something I will tell you is as it hits, you watch the impact. It does hit the water, and you watch some of the fire begin to fizzle out a little bit. So that part of it, not as much of an impact. But the necrotic portion of this, it does seem to take the full of that. So there we go. That's good. And that was your bonus action. I will tell you, you would have had to move closer to the edge in order to, and this goes for Ulrich as well. For those attacks, you would have had to kind of look over the side and cast it downward. Is that okay with the both of you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He only has 30 feet of movement. I don't suppose you could like step back a bit.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you could. You could get like 5 feet from the edge. Like if you were right up against the edge, you could move back 5 feet.
Yeah, I would like to not be completely on the edge whenever this thing tries to do something.
That's
And then,
fair and valid.
Yeah, that's movement, action, bonus action. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. All right. There we go. So now Consolida, you're up, and then the serpent will be after.
Well, learning this new development and how playing arcane tricks is wrong, I don't know what else I can do. So,
Here,
I'm gonna be stupid instead.
here's what you could do. I will allow you for this session to use the spells you have access to right now, as you have them, and then afterwards we can switch.
Even if I wanted, I don't have anything that could necessarily help me. So, again, I will be stupid.
Okay.
I can see the creature, correct?
Since it was pointed out, yes.
Okay. Where is its head, roughly?
That you can't see. You can only see its body.
Okay.
Its head is actually still is under the ship. You would have to like get to a position to fire or do whatever under the ship.
Well, it's rather convenient because I'm gonna jump off the ship
Into the water?
to the creature.
I will tell you. So onto the creature. Couple things that may influence your decision. Ship is still moving.
Yep.
Creature is under the water. So you're
Yep.
not it isn't above the water. So jumping in, you're not going to hit creature. You're going to hit water and then sink, and then you could hit creature, but if creature's still moving, could be difficult. Do you still want to do this?
I don't know what else I can do. I physically cannot do anything else.
Do you have cantrips? Because those don't have to be.
None of them are under the spells. I need them.
No, cantrips don't have to be I don't believe so. Cantrips I think can be whatever.
No.
It's talking about
And
level
even
spells. have to
I
be.
can't do anything either.
Okay, you can do it. I'm not stopping you. I'm just telling you the circumstances you're in. So since we're doing this theater of the mind, that way you know what you might be getting yourself into. You could also,
I'll just get my turn.
well, you could also back up one of the people on the cannon. In Chiron is on a cannon, as are some of the crew members. You could back them up, and that would give them advantage, almost doing like a help action.
How far away
If
are
you
they?
have nothing else to do. The people at the cannon, I mean, you could get to them in 15 feet.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, if you basically have nothing to do and we're just gonna skip turn, that gives you something you can do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go. So, you go over and do you want to do one of the people running the ship, or do you want to help in Chiron?
Burning Karen.
In Chiron? Okay. There you go. So then in that case, in Chiron, you'll have advantage here in a moment, because it is the Serpent's turn. It doesn't... So I'll give you, those of you with held actions, I'll give you that in a second. But I will describe first. So, first thing, Serpent's head doesn't come up first. Its tail comes up on the side that it was already on. And then its head comes up on the other side. And they begin to wrap around the deck of the ship. Now, held actions can happen. So, in Chiron, as its head is coming up right in front of you, would you like to fire?
Yes, I would.
Okay. You'll add your dexterity modifier for this.
Yep. That is an 18.
18. That will hit. So
Awesome.
18 will
I
hit.
get those
and
4d6.
then 4d6, and then just tell me what the total is there. There is a plus I'll add on.
Not great. 12.
12. Okay. I mean, 12, no, that's not bad. Could be worse. And then it does get a plus 8 on top of that, so 20.
20 total.
20 total bludgeoning. As its head comes up, it hits directly like on the top of its mouth almost, and you see like one of the teeth break off from just the strike of this cannonball point blank in the face. And then it does begin to wrap up. Was there someone else who had a held action?
The crew.
The crew, you're
Yes,
right. Let me
yes.
go ahead and roll for each of them. There are 3. Okay, one of them goes to fire, and something about how it was loaded, that you watch the, the fuse goes down, and then nothing happens. That was not enough. But the other 2, they go off almost directly after you, and do strike as well. In Chiron, could you go ahead with those 4d6 if you still have them out, and just go ahead and roll them once for me, and then I'll just use the damage for both.
That is 10.
10. Okay. So the 2 of them hit, so that'll be 20 there, plus... Okay, so 36 damage there between those 2. All in all, let me go ahead and write that down. Where'd the paper go? Oh, it's down there. Keep losing things,
And-
God.
Sapling wanted to blast it.
Yep.
Yes, so go ahead and roll for that as well.
That
Blight.
is a 21 to hit.
21 to hit. That will definitely hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Hooray!
It's
And
the
that
best.
is 8 force damage.
8 force. Okay. So, there we go. Now, since it is, at this point, that was all readied actions, it is going to do a actual constrict. It is going to need to make a roll
With disadvantage if it's an
with
attack because of
disadvantage because
frostbite.
it is from frostbite. That is, what is the ship's AC?
Oh no.
Yeah, because it isn't necessarily going for any of you. It is wrapping around the deck of the ship and just constricting, attempting to break it in half. Because then it has food in the water in its domain. So the ship that's already taken a bit of a beating doesn't have a super high AC, and that even with disadvantage, that is a 20. It begins to crush down. And let me grab the dice I need for this. Grab 1, 2, 3, 4. That a 2? That's a 2. 15 is that bludgeoning damage, and the ship is considered grappled. So at this point, it just, I'm gonna say, just because it's in the water, it doesn't make a lot of sense, even though it's grappled, for it to not move. I'm gonna say it's slowed in pace, as this thing is grabbed. It is also restrained, and its head is kind of lashing about and hits a few of the people on the deck, who aren't necessarily super hurt, but they get kind of flung a little bit. But you can see it's beginning to crush the ship. Okay. That's its turn. Now it's over to Chiron, and then the ship and crew.
Well, this is different. Well, we need to get it to leave our entire boat alone.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So you know what? I think I might try to hit. I'm gonna use guiding bolt on it. That is an attack from me.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead and roll for that. Not only are you guys giving it disadvantage, but you're about to give yourselves advantage.
That is a 22 to hit.
No, I don't think that'll hit. You know, in fact, it just grew armor. Yeah, no, that'll hit. It's huge. That'll hit.
Yes. I need to look damage on guiding. 46 radiant. Hey, I've been rolling lots of 46s. And it is shy. The next attack period before the end of my next turn is with advantage.
Fair enough.
This is 12 radiant.
12 radiant. All right, let's get that, and then good. Okay. Anything else you'd like to do?
I would like to move away from the edge of the boat, maybe start going away from the constricting thing so that I don't get flung directly into the water, which I can swim, but like...
In the middle of the ocean, you might be able to swim, but how long really can you swim for?
Exactly.
Okay. Let me actually just really quickly add up the damage you've done, just to see where it's at, and then we'll move on to the ship, and so on and so forth. Okay, so... So far, good damage collectively. Actually, very good damage now that I've added that up, I'll tell you. So, there were some resistances, some immunities involved throughout, as I kind of alluded to. But the damage it's actually taken is 108. So, good. I will say at this point, it would be considered... It has been considered bloodied for a little bit now. So, good. And you said that is your turn, correct? You're done? Good. Okay, so now it is the ship. They fired. I'm going to say, because normally they would have to take their turn to reload. What they're going to do instead is they are going to, instead of having 4 cannons all reloading to fire next time, 2 of them are going to split off and reload 2 of the cannons, and then those 2 cannons will fire. That way, at least, there's some damage this turn. They basically, and actually, they're essentially turning the cannons to fire. So hopefully they don't miss, because then they're shooting their own ship. They basically, the serpents in the middle of the ship, they turn the cannons inward and just are going to unload. That's going to be is that a 17 or 11? That's an 11 plus that. Ooh, that might miss. One of them actually does miss, but it's not so bad of a miss that it hits the ship. It's more so it hits the body, but it didn't have a lot of time to build up momentum because it was so close, and it just kind of hits the body and no effect. The other one, however, is a natural 20, so that makes up for it. It's basically like they both hit. So
You want someone to roll a D100?
I'm not gonna for them. Not this time around.
Okay.
It's more so for you guys. I just roll for enemies, or for like these guys occasionally because it's fun. That's actually pretty good damage though. 3 4s and a 3. So that's gonna be, if my math is right, 15.
So 30.
Oh yeah.
No,
well,
15 plus 8
plus 8,
times
which is 23 times 2, 46. That's
46.
really good. That's a big hit. Let me add that into the total. Yeah, that's like both of them hit. So even though one missed, doesn't matter. And doing the math here, it's looking pretty bad. Still holding out, but I'm doing terrible math right now. 156? No, 154. There we go.
I have just realized
Yes.
we as a collective forgot to put Dunless on the initiative.
Oh, god damn it. No,
But it's
that's on me.
okay.
That's on me. I will say, yeah, no, that is true. He's been doing some damage too. There we go. I'll just lower the creature's health and say he's been like stabbing at it. Ah, shit. Ah, shit. Oh, god damn it. I built him to fight too. Here,
Aw, dang.
I'm gonna put him at the end of the initiative order to do like one attack because I built him for this, so he's gonna do something. God damn it! It's also almost dead. I'm not gonna have him kill it, because I don't think he could. I think it's actually one more turn. We'll see. Depends on what you do in the next turn. Speaking of which, Sapling, and then Ulrich, you'll be up after that. Sapling, what do you want to do? It is on the deck.
I want you. It should get off of the deck. But until then, I think I will slap it with some Mind Sliver.
Ooh.
And I will need it to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, it's awesome at those.
I imagine,
Oh.
yes.
Oh, it's so good. That's a 6.
Oh, so beautiful. Oh, just barely failed. Really good roll. Let me roll the damage it will take.
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't have been such an asshole. It's gonna take 1 psychic damage, but it will have to subtract 1d4 from the next saving throw it makes before the end of my next turn.
Perfect. Also, do not let me forget that. On the next save, just be like, hey, do this. I'll be like, okay.
Hey, bud.
All right. Okay. That's good. Anything else you'd like to do? Do you want to move away?
Nope. Oh, yeah, probably. I don't know how close I am to it, but I don't want to be very close to it.
Just making sure, not going to fall in. There you go. Okay. So there you go. And then Ulrich, you're up. If you still can't talk, I will just read the chat like before. At this point, it is on deck. You can see it, and it is angry and not looking great.
There's some holes in that snake.
Shocking bolts. Shocking bolts, the old big boy. Yes. Okay. I believe that is that a save on its part, or is that a roll for you? I do not remember.
No. That was the first.
Yep.
Save on its part. Okay. And what type of save is that? I have already rolled. I just need to know what modifier to add or subtract, depending on which one it is.
D4.
Dex is 14, and yes, D4. Got it. Let me go ahead and do that. That actually, I'll tell you, that could be the difference between a save and a fail. What is that? This dice is so hard to read. Is that a 4 or a 1? That is a 1. Okay, so a negative 1 to that, plus Dex. It actually does have a plus to that. So it's going to be an 18, even with the D4 negative. Actually, I was wrong. I was doing the math wrong. It actually, the D4 wouldn't have. But still good. It just rolled really well. It rolled good and it has a plus. Okay. But a good effort. You send out this the shocking bolt, and it strikes its exterior, and some of the water that still is on it just diffuses, and sort of what's the word? I work with electrical stuff. What's the word? Discharges. That's it. The electricity across its body into the water, and it has no effect. Not because of resistance or immunity or anything. Just that's how I'm describing it. I make it sound like it has an immunity. It doesn't. That's just description. Is that the end of your turn, Ulrich? Okay. Merrick. And then Dunless will do something.
It'd be a free action to equip my greatsword, or is that a action or bonus action?
Did you have a weapon out already? Of any kind? Like anything out already? Even if it wasn't a weapon?
Not out, but I usually just have my greatsword on me. I can. Yeah. I'm just trying to determine if I need a bonus action or not, because I can summon it. But
no,
just trying to.
I'll give it to you as a free action.
Okay, then I'm going to take my greatsword, swing it down on this creature, as long as it's within 30 feet of me. Like a nice overhead.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just a nice, like, overhead chop. And that's a 21 to hit.
21 will definitely hit.
Plus 7. And that's going to be 6 plus 2 plus 5, 13 slashing damage. And 1 point of necrotic damage.
Okay. Perfect. Just doing the adding on that. Nice. 169. There we go. All right. All right. Okay. Very, very good overhead strike, and you cleave a chunk out of it, leaving this exposed flesh underneath, this red meat underneath. All right. Anything else you'd like to do?
I'm going to try. I'm going to action surge and use another attack that hopefully will not miss. That's another 21. A 14 plus 7.
Hit. Heck yeah, that'll still hit.
And that's going to be 6 plus 4 plus 5, 15 points of slashing damage. And another just like flash of necrotic damage. That's another 1 point of it. 1 point of necrotic damage. Basically, this net's trying to hack away at the opening he caused.
All right, and Matt there we go. It's looking really bad, and you just kind of start carving into it, and it's looking pretty bad. Okay. That your turn?
And that's sorry.
You're all good. You're all good.
That's and that's both of the actions. There's no bonus action to do, so
just gonna stay up on its face.
That'll be it. Just yeah.
Okay.
Getting ready to focus on me. Maybe big giant serpent thing that's so much larger.
Fair enough, and start carving into it. Okay. At that point, Dunless, who again we'll just say he's been helping, because I forgot, and that's me. He's gonna take his trident and he's going to he's gonna go ahead and take a stab at it. We'll say he's gonna take a stab at its face, almost trying to kind of like pin it down onto the deck. And that's going to be a 17 to hit, which will hit. And you know what? He's going to go ahead and burn a spell slot, and he's going to put a Divine Smite on this. Because those are always fun. So that's going to be... Yeah, that's what I thought. These dice are hard to read. I need to use different ones, but I love them. They're so pretty. There's only going to be 4 points of Radiant. So not great. But as far as the stab, that's going to be 9 piercing. Let me do the math there. Okay. 198 damage so far. It's pretty good. It's getting real close. If he rolled better, maybe, but it's okay. So he stabs down, and just there's this fury in his eyes as he does. A fury, I think, Merrick, you would... I don't know, maybe that would resonate with you in some way. Maybe not same reasons, but using that anger as a weapon.
It does.
And I'll say that's his turn. He doesn't really have anything he could do with that. Concelida, it is over to you. It is on the deck now. It's looking frantic, but it doesn't seem like it's going to run. It just seems to be continuing to crush. It's kind of like a cat. When a cat's doing something it's not supposed to, and it knows, and so now it's just trying to do it faster.
Okay. I'm just gonna use my action to hit what Merrick carved through, hit that, and then I'll use my 2-weapon fighting to hit it again.
Okay. And do me a favor, with your attacks, roll them with advantage, because both Merrick is engaged with it, and also Dunless is on the other side of it, so this does count as flanking. So just roll your attacks with advantage.
19 to hit, and then natural 20, 26 to hit.
Those will definitely both hit, and then just go ahead and roll the D100 for me, and I'll see what's on the table.
100. I always forget how to read these. I got 5 and 2 zeros.
5 and 2 zeros, that would be a 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Which on this table, go ahead and get the damage. I gotta get the table back up.
I'm gonna roll like 50,000 dice.
Uh-huh.
So that would be 31 total.
Is that for both attacks?
But yeah, I doubled the previous attack and just added
Okay.
the damages together.
Let me do the math here, because this might be it. 31. So it was at that. That brings it to that. And math is hard. Yeah, that'll do it. So, do you want to describe this in any specific way? I'll tell you the D100, since you killed it, not a huge effect that'll really last. Basically, what it would have done is it would have made it frightened of you, which I guess what I'll say is it is. You see the fear in its eyes when you take that first hit. It's the second hit that deals it in. Any specific way you want to describe this?
Yeah, I'll let you do it.
Okay. So you were going in for where Merrick was already carving through. Merrick's carving from one side. Dunless is holding it down. Everyone else is pelting it with cannonballs and otherwise, and spells. You just go in with your blades and you see a vital place and just carve up, down, and it lets out this sort of shriek and then begins to loosen its grip and slowly it begins to fall away into the water. There are bits of the meat and things on the ground from where you guys were carving into it. So hey, if you want to have some sea serpent meat, it's there. And Barnacle kind of comes up off the deck like a little gremlin and just just goes over and grabs the meat and starts taking it downstairs. But you have survived. You have survived. You have survived the day. Good job. Yeah.
Is everybody all right?
I'm fine.
No one's hurt?
No harm here.
Okay. I'm going to get to work repairing the ship.
Yeah,
Mend it.
I was just about to look at that.
You guys did stop it before a ton of damage was done, but you can tell that if left how it is, this small injury to the ship will turn into a bigger problem down the line. But it's okay for right now. So you have plenty of time to get down there, begin mending the ship. It was mostly the railings up top and some of the deck that were damaged. So mostly cosmetic. But
Yeah.
you're okay. About that time, the captain, who was keeping the ship straight and keeping it from veering off, comes down. All right. I'd heard stories of sea serpents and things in these waters, but I thought they were fake. Keep an eye out for more. Where there's one, there's probably more. So keep an eye out. Are one of you able to do that? To kind of stand watch?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, just keep an eye out for me. And that was, sorry, just want to make sure, was that Sapling that said yes?
Yeah.
Okay, go and roll me a perception check. And this will just be kind of the perception check that we'll go with for the remainder of this.
How much longer until we reach our destination, approximately?
I'm going to say probably the sun is starting to go down. Because it had been many hours of you guys being under the deck during the storm. You guys probably about 4 hours.
Dang it, I can't take a power nap. That's okay.
Yeah. You definitely, you guys don't have to leave. Like, that is at sunset and like it's dark. You guys can leave whenever you want. If you do want to take a long rest before going down, you have time. You just would have less time at night. But, yeah.
My perception was an 8, which I know is bad, but I don't know if I would be allowed to use my my silly little talisman to help it, or if it has to be like an explicit fail for me to be able to use it.
Allow me to double check the wording and I will tell you. Because sometimes the wording on things is a little funky.
Yeah, it's
so
a bit vague.
Yeah, that's the thing about D&D is a lot of shit's really vague, but when they try, oftentimes when they try to overspecify things, it's like, no, but I don't like that. So, so that's how it often goes. All right, let's see. Okay, when it fails an ability check, you know what? I'll go ahead and let you do that because in this case, it's weird because it's not necessarily a failure or a success. It's just you get different amounts of information. But I would say this would be considered a failure because you're not really getting a whole lot.
Yippee! Okay, so that is now, what was it before, an 8? It is a 10 now, so that's a little bit better.
A little bit better. So you'll get a little more information. What I will say is what you see as do you go up to like the crow's nest or do you just kind of look from the deck? You
How
could
the
technically
hell does
fit
he
in the
get
crow's
up
nest.
there? How
That's
the
actually
fuck?
It's a good question. You can't get to the crow's nest. You
Yeah.
could fit up there. It's big enough, but you can't. You can't climb.
Ascend.
I mean, just use your arms.
How-
Pull you up.
Drop a collar from stuff.
Yeah.
This is scary to imagine crawling
Yeah.
up
I
there.
don't-
Centaurs are bugs.
Yeah. But you kind of just stand, we'll say toward the front of the ship. You can see a little better from there, with the sails not in the way. And kind of watching out ahead, you don't see any signs of large serpents or anything. You do see the odd jutting bit of like rock or coral that you are able to guide the captain around. So you do keep them from hitting anything. What you do see, though, as the storm begins to subside, it almost kind of stops abruptly. As the sky gets clearer, it is night, but the clouds fade, and you're able to see a little clearer with the moonlight shining down. What you see is the moonlight glinting off of something in the water a few 100 feet in front of you. We'll say maybe about a half-mile in front of you. Something you didn't really see with the darkness and the rain, but you can see pretty clearly now. It's these, honestly, really hard to miss, spires poking up out of the water. I'm going to say with a 10, it's hard to make out any real details from this distance, though. You would have to get closer to really see anything. Do you relay this information?
Yes.
Okay. So the rest of you and the captain, is anyone taking any kind of rest, whether short or long rest, while this is happening?
With the group about taking a long rest?
I made sure to only use cantrips during that fight, so I don't need to.
I
Well,
don't
if you had
need
used your
any
warlock
resting.
slots, you would have been able to get back.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who needs it, so like I'm fine with
Okay.
not taking it.
Okay.
I'm
Again,
I could take a
Um,
short rest if someone needs it.
short rest.
You can take a
I
short
wouldn't
rest.
mind taking one if you need one.
I don't
Alright,
need
I'll
one.
take it.
I still have a solid amount of slots left, so I should be fine.
I will say everybody, including Sapling, if for some reason you did want to take a short rest, for any reason you could, because again, it's a 4-hour journey remaining, roughly 4 hours. So even with you keeping watch, you could definitely, honestly, short rest is kind of just downtime. So I would honestly count what you're doing as a short rest. So you would get the benefits, whatever that means for you. And honestly, all of you technically would. You would just need to take an additional 4 to get a long rest.
I can't say I need a short rest, but I would like to process. I literally just discussed I haven't killed anything before.
Anything.
No,
Oh.
I don't even kill bugs.
Oh.
So she's just gonna be up at the front of the ship by herself on the railing.
You're not taking a short rest. You're taking a short stress.
Short
Yeah.
stress. Yeah.
She's mental recuperating. That's my short rest.
Okay. Okay.
You want to chat about it? You want to talk about your feelings?
Sapling
can
is
talk
at
about
the
your
front of the ship
feelings.
watching. So I mean, if you go up there, you can.
I can go talk about. I can go talk about.
You can go take a nap,
things.
old man.
I don't
Jeez.
need to nap.
Uh,
I will go over to Consolida. Kind of
If
sit
you're
next
close,
to her.
I'm gonna talk to you.
Are you doing all right?
She's just elbows on the railing, holding her head, just looking at the water. I'm fine.
With my passive 17 insight, I can.
No, she's not fine.
I'm going to put my arm around her shoulder.
Not a cheek, Dad. No.
Oh, all right then. It is odd. I would have thought that with an adventurer such as yourself, you would have seen your fair share.
I'm not an adventurer. Don't get that twisted.
Well,
I'm a petty thief.
well, no, you are currently on an adventure, so therefore are an adventurer.
She's not the only one who's new to this.
And, well, it's good that you're thinking about it.
Would be able to think about it a lot better without people trying to touch me.
Well, I will be here if you want to talk.
About one.
I'm going to sit next to her.
She doesn't know what to talk about or how to talk about it, so she's just confused by these people in her space.
Are you nervous?
Why would I be nervous?
Because we're going on some weird new adventure and we might kill someone? Does that make you nervous? The thought of killing someone?
Is this a joke to you?
No.
And stop treating it like one.
It is very hard to send messages in this language that you all use. It wasn't meant to be a joke. It's reasonable to be worried about it. Death is a rather permanent thing.
Wow, making me feel so much better.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to even be there.
I know. Didn't have much of a choice this time, did I? And I won't if
You
I'm
still
below the
do.
waves. Is there a point all of you are trying to make here? Please just get to it.
I'm just sitting here. I'm here.
Is it so painful to talk to your companions?
Yes.
Then
Yes,
sit.
it is.
Work
I don't
through
want-
your reservations. It's all you can do.
You're not sapling.
Of course not.
I don't want to talk to you right now.
Then don't.
And bring sapling back.
Why?
He's my friend. You're not.
Don't you think the current situation is a bit precarious?
I would much
trying to
rather
keep a lookout.
require the soft, gentle, grinning moron of a horse than you.
If you're able to talk to your friend, will it make you more useful in our oncoming challenges?
Just ignores him and looks back at the ocean. Does anyone else feel like giving me a quote lesson? Unless
I'm not
Mhm.
here to give you a lesson. I'm here if you want to talk.
I can't right now. There's too many ears.
When you had said his name, he wasn't really paying attention, but you said Dunless, and he kind of comes over. You said my name.
Sorry, just thought you might have some oh so valuable wisdom to share, as well as these folks.
I may. What is the situation? Is the death of that creature troubling you?
Yeah.
You have never taken life?
Who has high insight again?
Me.
Fuck! I gotta run. Damn it!
Yeah?
Well, wait. Oh, that's a straight 0.
Yeah?
I attempt to lie and say no.
Know that you have never taken a
Um,
life? Or know that you have
no,
taken a
I have
life?
never taken a life. I roll a 0 on that deception check. Everyone can see I have lied.
Yeah, you have told a lie. Dunless, he kind of gives that look of like, yeah, okay, that's a lie. But regardless, he says, he kind of leans on the railing a few feet away from you, not crowding your space, but like a few feet away, kind of looks out at the ocean. There was a time I had not taken life either. So I can say that I relate. Taking a life is not an easy thing. But sometimes you have to do those things for either the people you love, for yourself. As long as you're not doing it for the wrong reason, why does it matter?
She gets intensely nervous.
At least that is what I tell myself.
Good words, I think.
He's gonna stand up, turn to walk away, but what do I know? I'm just Dunless. Then he's gonna go back downstairs.
Is Ulrich and Merrick by chance close at all to have heard such a blatant lie?
I think
Uh-huh.
Merrick would. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had been working kind of stopped once everyone started crowding around Consolida and, seeing how she really doesn't look like she wants people around at that moment. Didn't step in. But I'd imagine he's nearby to here. Yeah.
Okay. And I see Ulrich, you're typing. Just watching to see
Okay.
and overheard, so he's close. Okay, so Ulrich would be close by.
Well. And no one seems curious. That's fine. I can leave.
Ensalada,
Yes.
are you okay?
Looks at Sapling.
Not really looking back, like kind of glancing, but it's like when you're driving, you gotta pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
Gotta
Is
look at the
that
sea.
Sapling?
I don't know why I have to look at the sea, but I have to look at the sea.
Yeah. Sounds like Sapling. Is it Sapling?
Are you asking that out loud?
Yeah. Yes.
What do you mean?
How many flowers did I eat at your shop?
Too many?
How tall are you again? 7'11", she hugs you the best she can.
Are you okay? I'm
Tiny ass
bit
little arms around like the transition between human and horse.
the line between hug and headlock is pretty blurred, but it is nice and gentle either way. That is what I am doing.
No, she's not okay. There's no point lying. Because you can't.
What's got you so stressed out? Come on.
I would like to. How do I? This is a bit of a precarious situation considering we are at the front of the ship. But I would like to bring Sapling and Kyron's ears close.
Ow.
I mean, sure.
That is okay.
You just sit down beside the two of you and whisper because I don't feel like letting others yet. I have killed someone before.
I think most people here. Sorry. I think most people here have. I mean, I haven't, but I don't judge you for it. I'm sure whatever you did was necessary.
He was 6, I think. It was an accident. I didn't mean to. Just wanted to show off things and be part of a group. And then it spiraled out of my control. And then Ulrich.
What
Hank,
happened? Was it magic?
a while ago. I can't quite remember how many years because I don't have the law document up. I was with a group of friends my age, and I was visiting my mentor in Bermsley, and he was friends with a pretty cool girl, a woman. I don't quite remember her whole name, but she went by Wick. She made a lot of contraptions, and I maybe stole one to try and show off with my friends. I didn't know it would go off. And I took his life and injured many on accident.
Well, in my estimation, I don't have all fact, but in my estimation, that would more likely be negligence on the part of the adult than it would be the fault of you.
It gets worse. I panicked and told my mentor, who, when people came knocking, told that Ulrich did it instead of me. And because of that, he lost his wings. I swore that I wouldn't do anything to kill a person or thing or life ever again. I guess just murdering a creature that was trying to eat us just maybe kind of triggered that.
Would you like a hug?
No.
Okay. Thank you for trusting us with this. I'm very sorry that happened.
Don't tell Ulrich. He doesn't know.
That is your thing to do when you are ready. I won't mention it to anyone.
Mimi,
I did roll to whisper, and I did get a
Well, hold on.
if you would like me to tell you that.
I do want you to roll that, but what did you rolled stealth?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your roll?
It was a 17 plus an 8. I can't quick math.
25.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just to confirm, I want to make sure that if there's a chance. Ulrich, what is your plus to perception? I don't know if you have one.
I think it is a 5.
Well,
No. Ulrich's wisdom as the dump stat.
yeah,
Does he?
so
Oh yeah.
okay. Then there's
It
no
is
chance.
you who has the 5.
Yeah.
It is me.
It is you. Then yeah, there's no way Ulrich
Yo.
could have heard, because you did say that you were pulling in Chiron and Sapling into it, so they are the only ones that heard that part of the conversation. As Ulrich could not, even if Ulrich wanted to, because your plus is not that high enough. Well, with the +5 doesn't matter, but what is your... Hold on. Wait. What is your plus to perception? And because I thought I asked earlier what your passive was, and you said it was a 10. And that would mean that it's 10 plus 0, because that's how you calculate passive perception. Is 10 plus it. Passive is 10.
Yeah, so he does.
Then what is your plus to perception? Because it should be 0 if your passive is 10. Okay. It is... Read it wrong. Okay. Just confirming, because if you have a chance to roll for this, I want to let you do it. I don't want to say don't roll, because you can't when you actually can. Okay. Cool. Just making sure. Okay. So there you go. Cool. So, Ulrich, you have no idea of what was just said because you couldn't hear it. But there you go. And that goes for like Merrick and stuff too, because I don't believe Merrick, I don't believe you could get that high either. And Seth is gone. Seth probably could, but Seth is not here.
Seth definitely could.
That's what it
Seth's
is.
definitely good.
Heard it, but
Seth
he's
has
not.
ears that stretch the earth. He hears everything.
Actually, this is a really interesting little... I'm going to
He's
check
in the
something.
wait.
I'm going to check something about the ethereal plane. Because
Oh, Oh no.
Because Seth
Oh,
could be
no.
like right on top of you right now, just be like, "What the fuck was that?"
I wouldn't put it
So-
past him. He's a
I'll check and talk to
Pardon?
Connor about that. I don't know. We'll check, and I'll have Seth roll if it's possible. And then, I mean, you wouldn't know, so I wouldn't tell you anyway. Okay. Well, that's fun. I will say I do want to wrap up here soon, just because of time.
Yeah.
Is there any last minute things you guys would like to discuss?
Oh, just the perpetual guilt and terror that follows with that.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, as you all are there, you see, now that you're getting closer to it, you all can see, that at this point, within about 500 feet, we'll say, there is those spires that we'll say 300 feet. Those spires that you'd seen before Sapling, they are parts of structures. And you have arrived at your destination. And I will give a better description of all of that at the beginning of next session.
All right.
When everyone is here. So, congrats. You survived a combat encounter with the thing that was trying to sink you. You've had some discussions, some talks about lore of different societies, and one of your own. Emotions were had, and that's where we're going to end for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed, those of you watching, and we will see you next week. Good night.